Chapter 597. Lu Bowen looked at Yang Feng with killing intent in his eyes, and he uttered frigidly, "Lei Ming, you've got guts to destroy the evil spirit Feng. Does your undying mountain want to be enemies with the Netherman Ogre Dragon?" A quasi-bright world warlock rank might emanated from Lu Bowen and enveloped Yang Feng. Even though Yang Feng has advanced Moonlight Warlock rank cultivation base, but he still felt tremendous pressure from the might. Yang Feng looked straight at Lu Bowen and uttered flatly, "Sir Sect Master, it was the evil spirit Feng's people who attacked me first. Our people were just acting out of self-defense. The Undying Mountain has no intention of being enemies with you, Sir Sect Master. But if you insist on fighting the Undying Mountain, then the Undying Mountain will not take half a step back." Lu Bowen uttered coldly, "What big talk? The Netherman Ogre Dragon doesn't welcome you. Leave the Sherryman's city immediately. Otherwise, the Netherman Ogre Dragon can only be enemies with you." The Undying Mountain that Yang Feng fabricated has a profound background. Many warlock groups have vaguely guessed that the Undying Mountain is the Undying Mountain from before the 6th Warlock dynasty. If such an ancient warlock group wants to return to the Zhangji Plain, they will need territory and resources. They are bound to clash with the old warlock groups over territory and resources. Lu Bowen will never allow the ancient and powerful warlock groups to return to his sphere of influence. Otherwise, when the ancient and powerful warlock groups return, the first thing they will deal with will be the Netherman Ogre Dragon. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Okay, the Undying Mountain's people will withdraw from the Sherryman city. I just hope that you won't regret your decision today, Sir Sect Master." Lu Bowen uttered coldly, "Take your leave." Without hesitation, Yang Feng left the Ogre Dragon city. Yang Feng also sold the properties in the Sherryman city that originally belonged to the evil spirit Feng at a high price. Since the Netherman Ogre Dragon wants Yang Feng to get the hell out of here, he signaled the other 3 tycoons to buy the evil spirit Feng's properties at a high price and let Yang Feng make a small profit. After leaving the Netherman Ogre Dragon's force, Yang Feng went to the Spirit Moon Heaven City, the capital of the Netherman Ogre Dragon's hostile force. As soon as he entered the Moon Heaven City, invitations were sent to the 5 Heavenly Lords, the 9 Heavenly Ogres, and other forces with Moonlight Warlocks in the Ligui province. Inside the sacred mountain of the Netherman Ogre Dragon. Lu Bowen glanced at the invitation, a trace of ridicule flashing in his eyes. With a flick of his finger, a flame suddenly rose up and burned the invitation to ashes. Alchemy Secret Treasure Auction Assembly. An alchemy treasure that could change the strength of a force was about to be auctioned. Humph, trying to impress the crowd. Secret treasures that could change the strength of a force were all rank 9 secret treasures. How could such a treasure be auctioned? In a manner, the mysterious white-clothed girl who used to be in the Myriad Flower Pavilion in Sherryman City looked at the invitation letter and smiled. An alchemy secret treasure that can change the strength of a force? Interesting, Undying Mountain is even willing to auction rank 9 and above secret treasures? In a luxurious castle, a handsome young man holding an invitation letter revealed a contemplative look. This Undying Mountain's young master is a bit domineering, but he doesn't look like a fool. I wonder what the alchemy secret treasure that can change the strength of a force is. Originally, the 5 Heavenly Lords and the 9 Heavenly Ogres wouldn't care about such an inexplicable invitation letter. But in the battle in Sherryman City, Undying Mountain used 5,000 Starry Sky Warlocks at once, and even Zhang Gui, who can contend against Glorious Dawn Warlocks, was insta-killed. Regarded as an ancient warlock group about to return, Undying Mountain is no longer a nobody, which attracted the attention of many warlock groups. Some forces of the 5 Heavenly Lords and the 9 Heavenly Ogres became interested in the auction, while others disdained it and destroyed the invitation letter sent by Yang Feng. Tempted, there are still many leaders of warlock groups in the Ligui province, and they gathered in the Moon Heaven City. A month later, in a large exhibition center in the Moon Heaven City, there are hundreds of warlock leaders from different forces sitting around. At the front of the exhibition center, there are 14 chairs for the 5 Heavenly Lords and the 9 Heavenly Ogres, the 14 tycoons of the Ligui province. There are only 4 people sitting on the 14 chairs. One is the mysterious girl in white from the Myriad Flowers Pavilion, one is a handsome young man, one is a fat little fatty with a strange brand engraved on his forehead, and one is a thin, expressionless middle-aged man. In the exhibition center, the warlock leaders from different forces looked at the four people with awe and apprehension in their eyes. The mysterious girl in white asked curiously, "Wei Hao, what is the secret treasure that Lei Ming plans to auction?" As one of the true disciples of the Water Moon Heaven, Wei Hao has a very high status in the Moon Heaven city. There was a flash of adoration in Wei Hao's eyes, and he said with a smile, "Xiangshuan, after Lei Ming came to the Moon Heaven city and sent an invitation letter, he has been hiding in the exhibition center. I don't know what secret treasure he plans to auction." Hua Xiangshuan is one of the Ligui province's 8 beauties, and she is ranked second. Not only is she beautiful, but she is also the only direct descendant of the Secret Treasure City's city master. In the Ligui province, countless young men are her admirers. Wei Hao said with a smile, "A secret treasure that can change the strength of a force. That's an exaggeration. If there was such a secret treasure, how could the Undying Mountain be willing to sell it? Since it's in the Moon Heaven City, I came to take a look." Hua Xiangshuan said with a sweet smile, "The world is big, and there are all kinds of strange things. The 7th Warlock Dynasty, the Magic Note Dynasty, developed the Magic Note Throne and other peerless secret treasures that can change the strength of a force. Maybe the Undying Mountain really developed a secret treasure that can change the strength of a force." At this moment, Yang Feng walked over from the side and came to the dais of the exhibition center. Curious gazes focused on him. He is the legendary young master of the ancient warlock group Undying Mountain. No one dares to look down on Yang Feng. "I am the young master of the Undying Mountain, Lei Ming. You have come from afar to see the secret treasure that can change the strength of a force. This is the secret treasure that can change the strength of a force." Yang Feng took out a bronze necklace engraved with queer runes and inlaid with a fist-sized crystal, shook it, and beckoned with his hand, and a level 1 warlock came to in front of him. Yang Feng tossed the necklace, and the level 1 warlock latched onto it. The level 1 warlock exerted force, a bronze radiance flickered, and the bronze necklace instantly disintegrated, forming a bronze full-body armor that covered him. Suddenly, great warlock rank life force pervaded the air. Great Warlock. A level 1 warlock became a great warlock with the help of the secret treasure. What an amazing secret treasure. To be able to turn a level 1 warlock into a great warlock, what an amazing secret treasure. The eyes of the leaders of the major forces lit up, and they exclaimed in admiration. It is extremely difficult to cultivate warlocks. In the Ligui province, level 1 warlocks and above can be seen everywhere. But in forces like the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Water Moon Heaven, great warlocks are the most elite soldiers. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "This secret treasure is called Bronze Warrior and is a level 4 secret treasure. It can enable level 1 warlocks and above to possess great warlock rank strength. Of course, the stronger a warlock is, the longer they can fight. Level 1 warlocks can fight for 1 hour. Level 3 warlocks can fight for 10 days. The Undying Mountain has an unlimited supply of this secret treasure, and each secret treasure costs 100,000 magic crystals. There's an unlimited supply of this secret treasure. Has the Undying Mountain's alchemy reached this level? If this is the case, then a secret treasure like Bronze Warrior can really change the strength of a force." The leaders of the major forces of the Ligui province stared at the Bronze Warrior with a scorching shade in their eyes. In the Ligui province, any warlock group with a heritage of more than 1,000 years and a Moonlight Warlock will have more than 1 million official warlocks under its command. If more than 1 million warlocks are armed to the Great Warlock rank, then even Glorious Dawn warlocks will be apprehensive of that power. Hua Xiangshuan, Wei Hao, and the other 2 warlocks from the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres, who were originally indifferent, showed dignified looks. There was a dignified gleam in Wei Hao's eyes, and he said solemnly, "If there is an unlimited supply, then Bronze Warrior is indeed a secret treasure that can change the strength of a force. A Moonlight Warlock can easily defeat 1,000 Great Warlocks. But if 100,000 Great Warlocks led by a Starry Sky Warlock form a strange magic array, they may be able to suppress a moonlight warlock. There was a complicated look in Hua Xiangshuan's beautiful eyes, and a sense of crisis welled up in her heart. An unlimited supply, how many alchemists does the Undying Mountain have? Do they have more alchemists than the secret treasure city? Otherwise, how could they refine so many bronze warriors? The secret treasure city is famous for its alchemy, and its secret treasures are among the best in the Ligui province. Virtually all forces cooperate with the secret treasure city and purchase a large number of secret treasures from the secret treasure city to strengthen their forces. Now that Yang Feng's Undying Mountain has appeared out of nowhere, it can be imagined that countless forces will buy the secret treasure bronze warriors. This gave Hua Xiangshuan a great sense of crisis. Chapter 598. Yang Feng smiled and clapped his hands, and a great warlock walked out from the side. Yang Feng cast a detection spell on the great warlock, and the great warlock exuded a powerful life force field. Some of the warlock leaders operated secret methods, cast eye abilities, looked at the great warlock, and saw through the real situation of the great warlock. Great warlock, he's indeed an ordinary great warlock. Great warlock. After the warlock leaders examined him, Yang Feng flicked his wrist, and a silver necklace no different from a bronze necklace appeared in his hand. This is a silver warrior refined by the Undying Mountain. With this silver warrior, a great warlock can contend against a starry sky warlock. Yang Feng threw the silver necklace to the great warlock. The great warlock squeezed the silver necklace, and countless silver metal enveloped the great warlock and turned him into a silver-armored warrior. Starry Sky Warlock rank might diffused from the great warlock. Starry Sky Warlock. What an amazing secret treasure. It can enable a great warlock to possess Starry Sky Warlock rank battle prowess. What a fearsome secret treasure. If this secret treasure can be supplied in large quantities, it's indeed a treasure that can change the strength of a force. When the leaders of the Ligui province's major forces saw the silver necklace, their eyes shone with excitement, and their breathing became rapid. The Ligui province was part of the Eastern world, where the human warlock civilization was extremely developed. Every force with a moonlight warlock would have 10,000 to 20,000 great warlocks as an elite force. As for Starry Sky warlocks, each warlock force didn't have many. Except for the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres, the other forces didn't have more than 1,000 Starry Sky warlocks. Once silver warrior secret treasures could be supplied in large quantities, then warlock forces with silver warrior secret treasures could crush warlock forces without silver warrior secret treasures. Scorching gazes full of desire focused on Yang Feng. Yang Feng said with a smile, each silver warrior secret treasure costs 100 high-grade magic crystals. If you don't have high-grade magic crystals, then low-grade magic crystals cost 3 million. In addition, one could also use territory, population, mineral resources, and other cultivation resources to exchange. We, the Undying Mountain, can only produce 10,000 silver warriors every month. Now, we'll start the auction in units of 10. The starting bid is 30 million low-grade magic crystals. A beautiful auctioneer stepped forward and said with a sweet smile, I'm the auctioneer for this auction, Wang Ya. Now we will officially start the auction of 10 silver warriors. The starting price is 30 million magical crystals, and each increment must be no less than 1 million magical crystals. Wei Hao immediately said, 30 million. Wei Hao is aware that if there are enough secret treasures like Silver Warrior, it will greatly enhance the fighting strength of Water Moon Heaven's warlocks. If those 10,000 Silver Warrior artifacts fell into the hands of Water Moon Heaven, it would allow Water Moon Heaven's forces to overwhelm the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon. As for the low-level magical crystals, they were nothing to the Water Moon Heaven and the Nethermoon Ghoul Dragon. Only forces like the Water Moon Heaven and the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon could equip a Silver Warrior in large quantities. The thin, expressionless middle-aged man said coldly, 31 million magic crystals, 32 million mana crystals. Wei Hao frowned slightly, and then continued to increase the bid by 1 million magic crystals. The fat little fatty with a strange brand engraved on his forehead said with a smile, 40 million magic crystals. Wei Hao looked at the fat little fatty with apprehension and fell silent. The fat little fatty is Yi Wuxin, the young master of the Yi family of the 5 heavenly lords. He is not only a moonlight warlock, but also a ruthless character. More than 6 moonlight warlocks have died at his hands, so Wei Hao is very apprehensive of him. The venue was silent. Yi Wuxin easily put the 10 silver warrior artifacts into his pocket. In the following auctions, Yi Wuxin bid 40 million magic crystals each time and put the silver warrior secret treasures into his pocket. Before long, 9,000 silver warrior secret treasures were put into his pocket. As expected of the Yi family of the 5 heavenly lords, they're really strong. To be able to buy so many silver warrior secret treasures. It seems that the 5 heavenly lords are indeed stronger than the 9 heavenly ogres. The warlock leaders in the auction hall showed peculiar looks in their eyes and mused silently. Shit, if this goes on, won't the water moon heaven be suppressed by the Yi family? Wei Hao suddenly came to his senses, a dignified shade streaked past his eyes, and he frantically increased the price. Thanks to Wei Hao's frantic bidding, the remaining 1,000 silver warrior secret treasures were bought at an average price of 50 million magic crystals per 10 pieces. After the 10,000 silver warrior secret treasures were snapped up, the warlock leaders from all over the world came to see Yang Feng and frantically snapped up the bronze warrior secret treasures. Young Master Lei, please wait. As soon as the auction ended, Wei Hao stepped forward and stopped Yang Feng. Greetings, young Master Lei, true disciple of the water moon heaven. Yang Feng said with a smile, Undying Mountains Lei Ming, Brother Wei, what can I do for you? Wei Hao replied, I want to make friends with you, young Master Lei, and discuss a big business deal. Yang Feng uttered, okay, let's talk inside. Yi Wuxin also came over and said with a smile, I am Yi Wuxin, the young master of the Yi family of the 5 heavenly lords. Young Master Lei, how about we make friends? Yang Feng responded with a gentlemanly smile, it's my honor to be friends with young Master Yi. When Wei Hao saw Yi Wuxin, he frowned slightly, but didn't say anything. The relationship between the water moon heaven and the Yi family is very ordinary. They are neither enemies nor allies. If Wei Hao can make friends with the Yi family's young master, it will be of great benefit. Under Yang Feng's lead, the 3 came to a room inside the exhibition center and sat down. As soon as Wei Hao took a seat, he probed, Young Master Lei, the water moon heaven would like to order 3 million sets of bronze warrior. Yang Feng replied with a smile, no problem. I will transfer 3 million sets of bronze warrior within a month. Wei Hao's heart shook slightly, amazing, the Undying Mountain's underlying strength is really deep. To sell 3 million sets of level for secret treasures, these ancient warlock groups are really scary. The water moon heaven also has its own alchemists, but the number of level for secret treasures doesn't exceed 1 million. After all, although the water moon heaven continuously produces all kinds of secret treasures, but in the various battles every year, many secret treasures are consumed. Wei Hao continued, in addition, the water moon heaven would like to order 500,000 sets of silver warrior secret treasures from you. Yang Feng revealed a look of difficulty and said, Silver warrior is a bit difficult. The Undying Mountain can produce 10,000 sets of silver warrior every month, that's already the limit. After all, we still have other customers to maintain. In fact, after the level 3 stronghold was successfully built, with the Andrak Plain as a stable base, Yang Feng can easily produce 1 million sets of silver warrior secret treasures every month if he goes all out to forge them. But rare things are precious. Naturally, he can't show that there are a lot of such secret treasures. Wei Hao offered, the water moon heaven can offer 100 high-grade magic crystals per set to purchase silver warrior secret treasures. In the black market, about 30,000 low-grade magic crystals can buy a high-grade magic crystal. However, the number of high-grade magic crystals in the black market is very small. Purchasing a large number of high-grade magic crystals will only make the price of high-grade magic crystals rise steadily. For a moonlight warlock like Yang Feng who needs a large number of high-grade magic crystals to practice cultivation, no matter how many high-grade magic crystals there are, they won't be enough. Yang Feng hesitated for a moment, and then gritted his teeth and said, okay, I can give you 10,000 silver warrior secret treasures. Yi Wuxin said with a smile, young Master Lei, we are also good friends. You can't favor one and discriminate against the other. The Yi family can offer 110 high-grade magic crystals per set to purchase Silver Warrior's secret treasures. However many your Undying Mountain has, the Yi family will buy. Wei Hao smiled bitterly and said, young Master Yi, give me some face. You have already bought 9,000 Silver Warrior's secret treasures. If I don't buy some Silver Warrior, then it will be troublesome. Silver Warrior's secret treasures can enable great warlocks to possess Starry Sky Warlock rank battle prowess. The Water Moon Heaven doesn't lack great warlocks. If they have 10,000 more Starry Sky Warlocks, it will greatly enhance their strength. The Water Moon Heaven and the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon are at war with each other. Low-level warlocks often fight each other for mineral veins and territories. The Nethermoon Ogre Dragon's warlocks mainly cultivate Ogre-type and Dragon-type bloodline warlocks. They are stronger than the Water Moon Heaven. In the battles, the Water Moon Heaven is often at a disadvantage. If the Water Moon Heaven has 10,000 Silver Warrior secret treasures, they will have the upper hand in the battles. After all, the upper echelon of the Water Moon Heaven and the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon won't easily intervene in such battles. Otherwise, it will easily lead to confrontation between the two warlock groups or even war. Yi Wuxin said with a smile, okay, I'll give you face. Wei Hao, you owe me a favor. Wei Hao was overjoyed, thank you, young Master Yi. Yi Wuxin said, young Master Lei, the Yi family will buy all of your Undying Mountain's Silver Warriors. Starting next month, the Yi family is willing to buy them all for 120 high-grade magic crystals per set. Wei Hao's face flickered, young Master Yi, isn't that inappropriate? If the Undying Mountain's Silver Warrior secret treasures fall into the hands of the Yi family, then over time, the balance in the Ligui province will be broken, and the Yi family will become stronger and stronger. Yi Wuxin said lightly, what's inappropriate about it? If you want to buy it, you'll have to pay a higher price than me. Wei Hao said, young Master Lei, the Water Moon Heaven is also willing to pay 120 high-grade magic crystals to buy your Undying Mountain's Silver Warriors. It's best if we share them with the Yi family. Chapter 599. Yang Feng responded with a smile, I can give you 70% of the Silver Warriors. The remaining 30% will be left to other forces. In the Ligui province, there are the 5 heavenly lords, the 9 heavenly ogres, and 14 tycoons. The Silver Warrior secret treasures are just a stepping stone for Yang Feng to enter the Ligui province. He can't sell the Silver Warrior secret treasures to a warlock group, which isn't in line with his interests. Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures require high-energy crystals and super-energy crystals as their power source. Every time they are launched, they consume a huge amount of energy. Yang Feng selling the Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures to a warlock group is equivalent to a warlock group. Wei Hao and Yi Wuxin raised the price several times, but Yang Feng didn't budge. They understood that Yang Feng won't budge on this issue, so they no longer raised the issue. They began to chat about the customs of different places and the difficulties in cultivation. Before leaving, Wei Hao handed Yang Feng an invitation and said meaningfully, young Master Lei, this is an invitation to the Spirit Moon Flower Party. It will be held in the Spirit Moon Heaven City in 3 months. At least half of the Ligui province's 10 great beauties will come, and many other young talents will come as well. Don't miss this opportunity. Yang Feng smiled and took the invitation to the Spirit Moon Flower Party. He knew that Wei Hao has invited him to join the upper echelon of the Ligui province's nouveau riche. The young master of an ancient warlock group, Undying Mountain, can casually mobilize 5,000 Starry Sky Warlock guards and easily take out more than 10,000 Silver Warriors and millions of Bronze Warriors' secret treasures. Shrouded in all kinds of halos, Yang Feng won Wei Hao's approval and joined the upper echelon of the Ligui province's nouveau riche. The Ligui province, the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon occupied a magic crystal vein. Xing Chuanda patrolled the exit of the magic crystal vein. Watching the slave miners dig out the magic crystals inside the vein, he revealed a smile. Xing Chuanda is a Starry Sky Warlock subordinate to the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon. A few months ago, he took people to occupy the newly opened vein of the Water Moon Heaven and slaughtered the Water Moon Heaven's warlocks. This kind of thing is very common in the Ligui province. Although the Ligui province is large, but there are 14 powerful warlock groups here. In addition, there are countless small warlock groups. In order to fight for resources, they also killed each other endlessly. It was incomparably chaotic. In the Great Cloud Dynasty, warlock groups like the evil spirit Fong, which massacred mortals at will to refine all kinds of wicked secret arts, didn't dare to openly exist. However, in the Ligui province, he could become one of the 4 magnates who ruled Sherryman City. This showed how chaotic the Ligui province was. The Ligui province is different from the orderly and powerful Great Cloud Dynasty. This was a chaotic place where the strong preyed on the weak, and slaughter was endless. Xing Chuanda looked at the countless magic crystal ores and smiled with satisfaction. By occupying this vein, I can leave behind 10 high-grade magic crystals every month. With enough high-grade magic crystals, I'll have a better chance of advancing to the Moonlight Warlock realm in the future. Starry Sky Warlocks generally used low-grade magic crystals to practice cultivation. Xing Chuanda became the steward of this vein, which is why he can covet 10 high-grade magic crystals every month. The competition in the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon is very fierce. Only by seizing every opportunity and seizing all kinds of resources can Xing Chuanda have a glimmer of hope to promote to a Moonlight Warlock. All of a sudden, a series of alarms sounded from the ore vein. Enemy attack! Xing Chuanda suddenly felt nervous and looked into the distance. He saw a 100-meter-long, flat extraordinary life-form hurricane flatling snake with sharp teeth flying over. On the back of the hurricane flatling snake stood 10 great warlocks and 100+ level 3 warlocks of the Water Moon Heaven. When Xing Chuanda saw the 10 great warlocks, he showed a sneer and said frigidly, "Zhang Sheng, you barely escaped with your life last time. Are you here to throw away your lives?" The 10 great warlocks were the 10 great warlocks who had luckily escaped after Xing Chuanda's raid on the ore vein. Along with flashes of black light, the 17 great warlocks of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon quickly flew to Xing Chuanda's side, looked at the warlocks of the Water Moon Heaven in the sky and sneered, as if looking at a bunch of corpses. "Xing Chuanda, you sneak attacked and killed my teacher last time. Today is the day you die." Eyes shot with blood, Zhang Sheng pinched the necklace on his chest, and silver-white light instantly enveloped him and formed a silver armor covering his whole body, and Starry Sky Warlock rank might diffused. The other 9 great warlocks also pinched the necklace and turned into silver warriors. The 100+ level 3 warlocks of the Water Moon Heaven pinched the necklace and turned into great warlock rank experts. Dumbstruck, Xing Chuanda exclaimed, "Starry Sky Warlock, how is this possible? How can you possess Starry Sky Warlock rank power? What secret treasure is that?" The 10 Water Moon Heaven's silver warriors unleashed various secret methods and frantically besieged Xing Chuanda. The 100+ bronze warriors frantically besieged the remaining warlocks of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon. All kinds of magic light intertwined and flickered in the area. The fierce battle lasted for an entire hour. A silver warrior of the Water Moon Heaven was killed by Xing Chuanda, but Xing Chuanda was also besieged and killed by the other 9 silver warriors. Although the silver warriors of the Water Moon Heaven obtained Starry Sky Warlock rank power, but after all, they weren't Starry Sky Warlocks. Compared to true Starry Sky Warlocks, their battle prowess was still far from that of true Starry Sky Warlocks. This was how Xing Chuanda managed to kill one of them. More than half of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon warlocks in the ore vein were killed by the 100+ bronze warriors. Only 6 great warlocks managed to escape by casting secret methods. This scene continued to appear in the disputed area between the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Water Moon Heaven. With the help of the secret treasure bronze warriors and silver warriors, the Water Moon Heaven continuously seized the resource points controlled by the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon, completely suppressing the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon. In addition, the warlock groups that purchased a large number of bronze warriors began to expand rapidly in all directions. The Ligui province was a chaotic place to begin with. After the bronze warriors and silver warriors joined the fray, the Ligui province became even more chaotic, and battles became more frequent. The Netherman Ogre Dragon, in a hall on its sacred mountain. Lu Bowen slapped the wooden table with his hand and revealed a look of anger and remorse. Damn it. With the help of the two secret treasures, Bronze Warriors and Silver Warriors, the Water Moon Heaven completely suppressed the Netherman Ogre Dragon. The disputed territories have basically become the territory of the Water Moon Heaven. Unless the Netherman Ogre Dragon breaks the unspoken rules and dispatches Moonlight Warlock ranked powerhouses or above to fight the Water Moon Heaven, it will be very difficult for the Netherman Ogre Dragon to take back those territories. The upper echelons of the Water Moon Heaven and the Netherman Ogre Dragon are evenly matched. If the Netherman Ogre Dragon goes all out against the Water Moon Heaven, the outcome will be hard to predict. Even if the Netherman Ogre Dragon wins, it will be a Pyrrhic victory. The victorious side will soon be swallowed up by other forces, which is why the Netherman Ogre Dragon cannot make the decision to go all out against the Water Moon Heaven. Lu Bowen's eyes flickered fiercely for a while, and then he uttered coldly, "Ghoul." A warlock in black walked out of a distorted space and knelt on one knee in front of Lu Bowen. "Greetings, Lord." Lu Bowen uttered coldly, "I want the Undying Mountain's Lei Ming dead. You have to kill him in the Moon Heaven City. As long as Yang Feng dies in the Moon Heaven City, the secret treasure trade between the Undying Mountain and the Water Moon Heaven will be cut off. In that way, the Netherman Ogre Dragon can slowly take back everything that the Water Moon Heaven has taken away from it." "Yes, Lord." The figure of the warlock in black distorted slightly, and then disappeared. The Immortal Wings Lake is a beautiful lake located in the West District of the Moon Heaven City. There are all kinds of beautiful extraordinary plants growing around the Immortal Wings Lake. Beautiful flowers bloom all year round, exuding an enchanting fragrance. The tens of kilometers of land around the Immortal Wings Lake has been bought by the Ligui province's warlock families. In the Moon Heaven City, many ordinary people can't go to the Immortal Wings Lake even if they want to. Only the warlock families that are on good terms with the Water Moon Heaven can freely go sightseeing in the Immortal Wings Lake. The Moonflower Feast is held in the Immortal Lake Manor, a small villa next to the Immortal Wings Lake. Two magic chariots stopped in front of the Immortal Lake Manor. Yang Feng alighted from one of the chariots, and 4 Undyings alighted from the other and followed beside Yang Feng. A great warlock rank guard stepped forward and said respectfully, "Sir, please show me your invitation." Those who can participate in the Moonflower Feast are bigwigs. They aren't existences that a trifling great warlock rank guard can afford to offend. Yang Feng threw the invitation letter to the guard. The guard took a look, stepped aside, and made an inviting gesture. "Sir, please come in." Yang Feng entered the Immortal Lake Manor with the 4 guards. Under the guidance of a beautiful warlock maid, Yang Feng walked towards the interior of the Immortal Lake Manor. After passing through pavilions and winding corridors, he saw a group of youngsters gathered together, enjoying the flowers and playing beside the Immortal Wings Lake. "Young Master Lei, you're here." When Wei Hao saw Yang Feng, his eyes lit up, and he went up to greet him. Yi Wuxin also got up, smiled heartily, and went up to greet him. "That's Lei Ming, the Undying Mountain's young master?" "He's the Undying Mountain's young master." Curious, envious, jealous, apprehensive, and other complicated gazes shot from the young men and women and fell on Yang Feng. The reputation of the Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming has spread throughout the Ligui province following the auction. Within 3 months, countless conflicts broke out in the Ligui province. The Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures displayed terrifying power, and the forces with these 2 secret treasures gained an overwhelming advantage. Chapter 600. The major warlock groups took out countless magic crystals and asked Yang Feng to purchase Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures. Yang Feng sold Bronze Warrior secret treasures to the warlock groups that participated in the auction and screened the latecomers. The forces that have enmity with the Netherman Ogre Dragon received Yang Feng's support, and sold a large number of Bronze Warriors to the warlock groups that have enmity with the Netherman Ogre Dragon to enhance their strength. Under Yang Feng's secret manipulation, the Netherman Ogre Dragon is now in a very difficult situation. Although it hasn't suffered a serious injury, but its strength is constantly weakening. If this situation continues for hundreds of years, the Netherman ogre dragon's strength will decline greatly, and it will fall from a top force in the Ligui province to a first-rate force in the province. In the absence of a large-scale war, those first-rate warlock groups, through such petty means, continuously weakened their enemies, strengthened themselves, and promoted their forces and strength step by step. Unless a warlock group was able to give birth to a peerless genius who was unequaled under the heavens, and launch a war to destroy other warlock groups and occupy more resources. Otherwise, the majority of warlock groups could only use a step-by-step method to enhance their forces and strength. The Ligui province's 5 heavenly lords, 9 heavenly ogres, and other 14 powerful forces restrict each other. No force has the power to destroy the other forces. Under this background, Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures that can enhance the power of low-level warlocks have become the key to determining the rise and fall of a force. The young men and women in the Immortal Wings Lake are either the descendants of the top warlock groups in the Ligui province or the true disciples and young masters of the top warlock groups. They naturally know the weight of Undying Mountain's young master Yang Feng. Yang Feng took a seat, swept the young men and women with his gaze, and his eyes lit up. The young men and women in the Immortal Wings Lake are all top warlocks. Except for Yi Wuxin and a few other warlocks who practice special secret methods, the men are handsome, the women are beautiful, and the men are handsome. Among the handsome men and beautiful women, there are 4 extraordinary people. The rest of the handsome men and beautiful women seem to serve as a foil to them. One of the 4 is Hua Xiangshuan, one of the Ligui province's 8 beauties. One of them was a handsome young man dressed in a green scholarly robe. The other person was wearing a bright red dress. Her figure was sexy and hot, as if there was a ball of fire burning around her. She exuded an enchanting aura, and was not inferior to Hua Xiangshuan in the slightest. The last person was dressed in white. Her skin was as fair as snow, her eyebrows were picturesque, and her figure was like the golden ratio. She was beautiful, ethereal, and holy. She was slightly better than Hua Xiangshuan. Let me introduce everyone. This is the young master of Undying Mountain, Lei Ming. Wei Hao smiled slightly and introduced Yang Feng to everyone in front of him. At the same time, he also introduced everyone present to Yang Feng. After Wei Hao introduced the rest of the youngsters to Yang Feng, he solemnly introduced the 4 outstanding people to Yang Feng. Lei Ming, this is Bian Zixin, one of the Ligui province's 8 beauties, the young master of Lightning Fang. This was one of the 5 heavenly kings, the Zhan family's peerless genius, Zhan Mingtang. And this is the secret treasure city's young master, Hua Xiangshuan. Wei Hao said, as for the last one, she is the Merak star by Yuxian of the Great Cloud Dynasty's Moonlight 7 Stars. For the first time, Yang Feng's eyes flashed gravely. The Merak star by Yuxian of the Moonlight 7 Stars? One of the most outstanding geniuses of the Bai family's younger generation. The Moonlight 7 Stars were the 7 most outstanding moonlight warlocks of the Great Cloud Dynasty. Each of them was a peerless powerhouse who formed a virtual world and could defeat weaker Glorious Dawn warlocks. Among the Moonlight 7 Stars, 3 of them were from the Bai family. They were known as the strongest geniuses of the Bai family's younger generation. If there were no accidents, the Moonlight 7 Stars would advance to Glorious Dawn warlocks without any suspense. Only by advancing to the Bright World Warlock and Infinity Warlock realms can they stop the 7 peerless geniuses. The Great Cloud Dynasty also had a stronghold in the Ligui province. At present, the Great Cloud Dynasty and the Ligui province's 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres are in a period of peace. Bai Yuxian, a peerless genius from the Bai family, can naturally travel freely in the Ligui province. Moreover, the Bai family was the Great Cloud Dynasty's royal family and currently the most powerful force in the Great Cloud Dynasty. Bai Yuxian was equivalent to a princess of the Bai family, and her status was far above that of everyone present. Bai Yuxian said with a sweet smile, Lei Ming, your Undying Mountain's alchemy is really amazing. You can even develop a secret treasure like Silver Warrior? I'm very interested in alchemy. If you have time, can you teach me the unique alchemy of the Undying Mountain? When Bai Yuxian smiled, the surrounding scenery seemed to brighten up. It was a beautiful sight to behold. Even Yang Feng, who had a firm mind and a heart of stone, couldn't help but feel his heart palpitate when he saw that beautiful smile. Zhang Mingtang's eyes shimmered with jealousy, and he snorted coldly and glared at Yang Feng with hostility. Humph, what's so great about alchemy? For warlocks, secret treasures are just external objects, and their own strength is the key. Warlocks who use Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures only possess Great Warlock and Starry Sky Warlock rank power. They are far weaker than true Great Warlocks and Starry Sky Warlocks. The stunning beauty in red, Bian Zixin, stared at Zhang Mingtang, her beautiful eyes flashing with a touch of affection, and she echoed, "That's right. For warlocks, cultivation is everything. I've seen level 3 warlocks use Bronze Warrior to obtain Great Warlock rank power, but they can't use level 4 spells. In front of a true Great Warlock, they can't withstand a single blow." Yang Feng glanced at Zhang Mingtang and Bian Zixin, showed a pitying smile, and spoke with a smile of contempt, as if looking at two mentally retarded people. "The reason why we human warlocks can gain a foothold in the Zhangji Plain and defeat countless powerful races is because we rely on powerful secret treasures." The 7th Warlock Dynasty, Magic Note Dynasty, was known as one of the strongest dynasties because it had developed all kinds of formidable secret treasures. Both cultivation base and secret treasures are indispensable, because they are part of the strength of us warlocks. You don't even understand such a simple thing? Zhang Mingtang's face suddenly sank, and he said coldly, "What a sharp tongue." However, the contradictions between us warlocks still have to be resolved through strength. Zhang Mingtang clapped his hands lightly, and a 2-meter-tall man with a few scars on his face walked out from the side, giving off an oppressive feeling. He bowed to Zhang Mingtang and said respectfully, "Greetings, young master." Zhang Mingtang said with a smile, "This is 8 Ogre, a Starry Sky Warlock I recruited in the Barbarian Ogre Mountain Range. I heard that you have 5,000 Starry Sky Warlock guards, so let's have a good fight." The Ligui province was an extremely chaotic place, where countless warlock groups fought endlessly for resources. The warlock groups that were cornered by the Great Cloud Dynasty would flee to the Ligui province in an attempt to make a comeback. In the Ligui province, it was very common for warlocks to exchange pointers. Those foppish warlocks with noble statuses and aristocratic families would recruit many warlocks of humble origin and have them duel. Yang Feng said with a faint smile, "Interesting. However, a magic duel alone isn't exciting enough. How about we add some stakes? 10 million high-grade magic crystals. The loser of the duel will have to pay the winner 10 million high-grade magic crystals." When he said this, the eyes of the warlocks who originally planned to watch a good show suddenly revealed dignified looks. The value of 10 million high-grade magic crystals was above 300 billion low-grade magic crystals. Even a warlock group like Evil Spirit Fong with a Moonlight Warlock guarding it only had 3 million high-grade magic crystals. This kind of bet could no longer be called a joke. These young men and women would also gamble with each other for the sake of battle chi, but such a huge wager could no longer be described as ordinary battle chi. A cold glint flashed past Zhang Mingtang's eyes, and he sneered, "Okay, if I lose, I'll give you 10 million high-grade magic crystals. But if you lose, you'll have to compensate me with 100,000 sets of Silver Warrior secret treasures." Although Zhang Mingtang disliked Yang Feng due to jealousy, but he was also aware of the power of Silver Warrior secret treasures. 100,000 sets of Silver Warrior secret treasures could allow the Zhang family to have 100,000 more Starry Sky Warlocks, which was equivalent to doubling the strength of the Zhang family. This would greatly enhance the strength of the Zhang family. Yang Feng said, "Best of 3 or 1 to decide the winner." Zhang Mingtang hesitated for a while, and then said very cautiously, "Best of 3. A spatial ripple surged, and 2 warlocks, one tall and one small, exuding strange auras, walked out of the spatial ripple, came to stand beside Zhang Mingtang, stared at Yang Feng with unruly expressions, and revealed a sneer. "I'll provide the venue for the duel." Bai Yuxian spread the fingers of her hand, and a palm-sized arena flew out of her lily-white hand, landed aside, and formed a small arena with spatial force. 8 Ogre's figure blurred, and he flew into the small arena. Yang Feng said lightly, "Go down." If he doesn't admit defeat, then kill him. Yes. Master. An undying said in a hoarse voice, then blurred into motion and entered the small arena. 8 Ogre licked his face with his snake-like tongue, revealed a malevolent smile, and threatened fiercely, "You're really unlucky to run into me. More than 10 Starry Sky Warlocks have died at my hands. You'll become the 11th Starry Sky Warlock to die at my hands. It's not too late to surrender now. Otherwise, you'll definitely regret not dying earlier." Mechanical God Emperor. Chapter 601. In battle, the mind is also a key factor. Many warlocks from prestigious sects have powerful cultivation bases and powerful secret treasures. But in battle, they are often killed by humble warlocks who are weaker than them. This is because their mind isn't strong enough. As a result, they can only display less than 30% of their strength in battle. 8 Ogre's words are also a weapon. As long as the warlock fighting him is fearful, they won't be able to display their full strength in battle. But 8 Ogre's intimidation is completely ineffective against the undying named Ada by Yang Feng. Robots have no mind. They can't erupt with power far beyond their own, nor can they be intimidated. They can only display 100% of their fighting strength. This guy isn't simple. He's a tricky opponent. Staring at the motionless Ada, a dignified look streaked past 8 Ogre's eyes, and he silently recited an incantation. Strange patterns filled his body, and his body swelled up and turned into a 3-meter-tall three-eyed evil ogre with a weird eye on the forehead. Three-eyed evil ogres are evil ogres proficient in eye techniques. The third eye of three-eyed evil ogres can cast illusions, break illusions, and distort the void. They are extremely powerful evil ogres among evil ogres. Expressionless, Ada flipped his hands, and 2 2-meter-long high-frequency oscillating starlight electromagnetic blades appeared in his hands. The high-frequency oscillating starlight electromagnetic blades are virtually invincible. They can even cut apart the life force field of Bright World Warlocks. This is the strongest melee weapon that the level 3 stronghold can mass-produce. In the arena, Ada standing in front of 8 Ogre is like an ordinary human standing in front of a giant evil ogre. The sense of existence between the two isn't on the same level at all. Bai Yuxian uttered lightly, "Begin." Bai Yuxian's words have just fallen, when an afterimage flickered, and Ada disappeared. As if he passed through 8 Ogre, he appeared behind 8 Ogre. How is this possible? How can he be so fast? A look of horror and despair on his face, 8 Ogre screamed, and then collapsed into countless pieces of flesh and blood that scattered on the ground. Insta-killed. So fast. He was insta-killed. That's a Starry Sky Warlock. So fast. Is this a warlock from Undying Mountain? It is indeed terrifyingly powerful. When the warlock elites from top warlock families saw this scene, they inhaled a breath of cold air and looked at Ada with a complicated look in their eyes. Zhang Mingtang's eyes also flashed with a hint of seriousness. What a powerful warlock. Was this the foundation of the Undying Mountain? Sure enough, as expected of a terrifying force that once contended with the 6th Warlock Emperor the Golem Lord in ancient times. In addition to jealousy, the reason why Zhang Mingtang provoked Yang Feng is also to test the strength of the Undying Mountain. After the collapse of the 5th Warlock Dynasty and before the establishment of the 6th Warlock Dynasty, the Undying Mountain was the most powerful warlock group in the Eastern world. Even the 6th Warlock Emperor the Golem Lord was once hunted down by the Undying Mountain. Regarding the reappearance of the ancient warlock group, the Ligui province's major warlock groups are very vigilant, and even fearful and repulsed. Yang Feng's strong counterattack to Zhang Mingtang's provocation has created an image of a silk pants desperate to fight back against the enemy. In this way, anyone who wants to probe the Undying Mountain must pay a painful price. In this way, other warlock groups will be less likely to probe the Undying Mountain. After all, the Undying Mountain is a fictitious force created by Yang Feng. Once this lie is exposed, he may be hunted down by countless forces. After all, the production method of Bronze Warrior and Silver Warrior secret treasures will tempt the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres. Now that Yang Feng has the support of the ancient force created by the Undying Mountain, those huge warlock groups won't dare to act rashly. Yang Feng said, "Zhan Mingtang, next." Zhan Mingtang smiled faintly and said full of confidence, "Lei Ming, I'm sorry, but I've seen through your Starry Sky Warlock. You're going to lose the next round." With that, Zhan Mingtang flicked his hand, and a speck of light entered the forehead of the tall warlock. Zhan Mingtang said, "Seven Ogre, go kill him." "Yes, my lord." The figure of the tall warlock Seven Ogre blurred, and he flew into the arena. Weakness? What is the weakness of the Undying Mountain's Starry Sky Warlock? How can there be a weakness? The Undying Mountain's Starry Sky Warlock is clearly so strong that he even insta-killed 8 Ogre. How can there be a weakness? The eyes of the young warlocks from the influential families flashed with curiosity. In their view, the Undying is incredibly powerful, and it insta-killed 8 Ogre in an instant. It should be noted that before 8 Ogre joined Zhan Mingtang, he was a fierce Starry Sky Warlock. No less than 10 Starry Sky Warlocks have died at his hands. As soon as 7 Ogre entered the arena, he silently recited an incantation, and powerful magic fluctuations surged around him. He pointed with a finger. With a flash of magic light, air blades invisible to the naked eye but as sharp as blades appeared beside the 7 Ogres. Zhan Mingtang sneered, "This is the defensive spell Floating Blade, a spell specially designed to restrain high-speed warlocks. The life force of the warlock subordinate of yours isn't strong, yet he has such a terrifying speed. He must have evolved his speed to the limit. But in this way, his spells in other aspects are bound to have flaws. As long as I set up a targeted spell, your subordinate will surely be defeated." Yang Feng couldn't help but praise in his heart, "Not bad, as expected of a peerless genius of the Zhan family." As a representative unit of the 3rd-generation battle robots, the Undying is a high-speed unit that has evolved its speed to the limit. The highest speed of the Undying is Mach 25, which is even faster than some Bright World warlocks who aren't proficient in flight spells. Apart from its high speed and undying nature, the parameters of the Undying are much lower than those of other 3rd-generation battle robots, and it doesn't have any special abilities. Bian Zixin exclaimed with a delighted expression, "So that's how it is. As expected of Big Brother Zhan, you're really amazing. To be able to see the weakness of the Undying Mountain's warlocks at a glance." The rest of the warlocks also revealed an expression of sudden realization. Bai Yuxian said, "Begin." Bai Yuxian's words have just fallen, when the Undying Yang Feng named Ada suddenly turned into an afterimage, shot towards 7 Ogre, and slammed into the air blades in an instant. Under the fearsome speed of Mach 25, the Undying was instantly cut into 9 pieces by the air blades. However, the Undying's most important Undying chip was not damaged. Ada clenched a pair of 2-meter-long high-frequency oscillating starlight electromagnetic blades and waved his severed hands, and afterimages flickered and slashed at 7 Ogre in an instant. In an instant, 7 Ogre was torn apart and turned into countless chunks of blood that scattered on the ground. Not a single drop of blood flowed out of Ada's severed body. As if pulled by an invisible thread, each section of Ada's body flew to his body and glued together, and he was restored in an instant. Amazing, too amazing. Is this the secret method of the Undying Mountain? That's amazing. He didn't die even after his head was cut off, how scary. Legend has it that some Infinity Warlocks who practice special secret methods won't die even if their head is cut off, their heart is pierced, their limbs are cut off, and their blood is drained. I didn't expect the secret method of the Undying Mountain to be so powerful that a trifling Starry Sky Warlock can achieve this. Is this the secret method of Undying? It's really powerful. When the surrounding warlocks saw this scene, they inhaled a breath of cold air and commented spiritedly. In the world of warlocks, many Infinity Warlocks who have practiced life-saving secret methods can still survive after their head is cut off, their heart is gouged out, and their blood is drained. But in the Starry Sky Warlock realm, only warlocks who have practiced special secret methods can achieve this. The 5th Warlock dynasty's Death Lord cherished the life and death text he created very much. Only the Undying Mountain has mastered his life and death text. After the Undying Mountain was destroyed by the 6th Warlock Dynasty's Golem Lord, the Golem Lord only obtained 2 fragments of the life and death text. Due to the lack of the most essential parts, human warlocks cannot create more powerful secret methods from the 2 fragments of the life and death text. Therefore, in the Great Warlock realm, there are very few warlocks who can possess Undying secret methods similar to the Undying. Zhan Mingtang inhaled a breath of cold air, and his eyes shimmered with apprehension. Amazing, is this the secret method of the Undying Mountain? It's really powerful. Bai Yuxian's beautiful eyes shimmered brightly. Amazing, there are 5,000 such warlocks. As expected of a terrifying force that could compete with the Golem Lord in the past. Even though it has declined, the secret method is still so powerful. Yang Feng said lightly, there's no need to compete in the final battle. Zhan Mingtang, please prepare the 10 million high-grade magic crystals within a month. Zhan Mingtang's face twitched, and he said indifferently, I know, 10 million high-grade magic crystals is not a small amount for Zhan Mingtang, but for the Zhan family, it is just a small inconvenience. Da's figure fluttered, and he returned to Yang Feng's side and stood silently like a statue. The warlocks with extraordinary origins looked at the 4 Undyings standing next to Yang Feng with a peculiar gleam in their eyes. The 4 Undyings who can even threaten the lives of Moonlight warlocks are just ordinary bodyguards under Yang Feng's command. This gave them more speculations about the power of the Undying Mountain. Chapter 602. After this change, the atmosphere of the Spirit Moon Flower Convention became peaceful. No one was blind enough to provoke Yang Feng. Instead, they enthusiastically made friends with Yang Feng. After the flower party ended, Yang Feng returned to his room. Shortly after, he creased his eyebrows slightly and said coldly, Who is it? Come out. As expected of the young lord of the Undying Mountain. You are indeed powerful to be able to sense my presence. Following a burst of bell-like laughter, a spatial ripple appeared in a corner of the room and the beautiful Bai Yuxian walked out with a smile on her face. With a wave of her hand, a snow-white gauze flew into her hand. Yang Feng praised, as expected of the Merak star of the Moonlight 7 stars, it's really amazing. To be able to deceive the servants of my residence, that's really amazing. In fact, there were countless surveillance robots everywhere in Yang Feng's mansion. At the same time, there were all kinds of scanning systems installed. As soon as Bai Yuxian sneaked into Yang Feng's residence and crossed the 3rd line of defense, she was discovered by Yang Feng. Only Glorious Sun warlocks who are proficient in stealth secret methods and above may be able to pass through all the lines of defense silently and enter Yang Feng's dormitory. However, Yang Feng naturally wouldn't expose that he had already discovered Bai Yuxian's invasion. If there was any conflict between the 2 sides in the future, he could use this to ruthlessly trick her. Bai Yuxian smiled and sat on a sofa in front of Yang Feng, a fragrance wafting out from her. Young Master Lei, you really know how to talk. Yang Feng asked, Miss Bai, why did you come to see me? Bai Yuxian smiled and said, Call me Yuxian. Does your Undying Mountain want to obtain a territory of its own in the Ligui province? Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a glint, saying, Of course. As a warlock group that wanted to return to the Zhangji Plain, its greatest desire was naturally to gain a foothold in the Zhangji Plain. The Zhangji Plain was a treasure land. The fertile lands with the richest resources were occupied by powerful warlock groups. The Ligui province is rich in resources. Although the Ligui province cannot give birth to infinity warlocks. However, with the resources of the Ligui province, it is entirely possible to cultivate an infinity warlock in other places of the Zhangji Plain. As an ancient warlock group that wants to return to the Zhangji Plain, the Undying Mountain must want to gain a foothold in the Ligui province. Bai Yuxian gently swayed her fair and jade-like fingers and said enticingly, 100,000 silver warriors and 5 million bronze warriors. As long as you give me these secret treasures, I can guarantee that your Undying Mountain will have a foothold in the Ligui province. Moreover, it will be as vast as the territories of the 5 heavenly kings and the 9 heavenly ghosts. There was a flash of contempt in the abyss of Yang Feng's eyes, and he said with a smile, is the Great Cloud Dynasty going to send troops to the Ligui province? 3 years ago, the Great Cloud Dynasty expelled the 10 great sects from the Eastern world one by one and suffered heavy losses. He would need at least 100 years to recover. His Majesty the Emperor of the Great Cloud Dynasty is wise and valiant. He naturally knows that the Great Cloud Dynasty should stay put at this time, so how can he send troops to the Ligui province? If we didn't send troops, how could we have snatched food from the mouths of the 5 great heavenly kings and 9 great heavenly ghosts? The Great Cloud Dynasty's Emperor Bai Wuqing is very astute. After he drove the 10 great sects out of the Eastern world, he began to recuperate and make adjustments to the imperial court. But if Yang Feng kills Zhang Mingtang, the Zhang family will definitely mobilize all its forces to kill Yang Feng. Even if he has the support of the Undying Mountain, he won't be able to resist the revenge of the Zhang family. Bai Yuxian said with a solemn expression, "The Great Cloud Dynasty has found out that the Zhang family colluded with abyssal fiends and wants to destroy the other forces of the Ligui province." Yang Feng said with a smile, "What's there to fear about colluding with abyssal fiends? The endless abyss runs through countless planes. According to legend, it is the dark side of the universe where the evil and dark forces of countless planes gather. There are countless powerful existences in the endless abyss. However, the endless abyss is full of endless fighting and chaos. What abyssal fiends like the most is to kill and devour each other. The most ferocious, brutal, and cunning abyssal fiends will be favored by abyssal origin force and evolve extremely fast. Abyssal fiends may be very powerful individually, but once there are many abyssal fiends, without a superior fiend to dominate them, they will fight each other. Without a superior fiend to dominate them, after a dozen days, 10,000 abyssal fiends will fight each other until there are less than 100 left. In Yang Feng's view, the collusion between the Zhan family and abyssal fiends is simply a joke. If the Zhan family opens a passage and lets the abyssal fiends descend on the Cangji plain, the first abyssal fiends will be the experts of the Zhan family, because the Zhan family is close to them. Bai Yuxian said with a solemn expression, "If it was just colluding with ordinary abyssal fiends, there is naturally nothing to be afraid of. But they colluded with the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal of the 666th floor." A dignified shade streaked past Yang Feng's eyes, and he said slowly, "It's actually him. If it's him, then things are tricky. No one knows how many floors there are in the endless abyss. However, the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal of the 666th floor is famous throughout the Cangji plain. As a pinnacle infinity warlock rank abyssal fiend Grand Duke, Poidal is different from other abyssal fiend lords. He is cunning and wise, and he has a fallen angel legion under his command. That fallen angel legion was created by Poidal by seducing the fallen angels under the gods. On the other hand, he used various holy souls, powerful soul stones, and the method to create fallen angels. Poidal's most famous achievement is that when the 7th Warlock Dynasty Magic Note Dynasty collapsed, he sent the fallen angel legion to kill a warlock monarch. At the same time, when the 8th Warlock Dynasty collapsed, he attacked the Cangji plain and killed a warlock monarch together with his fallen angel legion. In addition, in the long history of the Cangji plain, more than 100 infinity warlocks have died at the hands of Poidal's fallen angel legion. Although Poidal's fallen angel legion has suffered heavy losses one after another, but it is still a powerful legion that even infinity warlocks are apprehensive of. Poidal is one of the abyssal fiends that Cangji plain's human warlocks fear the most. In the endless abyss, there are many abyssal fiends more powerful than Poidal. However, the number of abyssal fiend lords with a powerful legion like the Fallen Angel Legion can be counted on one's fingers. The 666th floor of the abyss is the most orderly floor in the endless abyss. Compared to the endless abyss, it is more like a hell controlled by order extraordinary life-form devils. If the Zhan family colludes with Poidal, then the Ligui province may really fall under the control of the abyssal fiends. Bai Yuxian said in a tempting tone, "Young Master Lei, if you kill Zhang Mingtang and expose the Zhan family's plot, you will become a great hero of the Ligui province. The other heavenly lords and sky ogres will join forces to destroy the Zhan family. In this way, won't your Undying Mountain have a chance to intervene in the Zhan family's territory?" Yang Feng replied, if I don't have concrete evidence, I won't do anything. Bai Yuxian smiled sweetly and pushed an envelope in front of Yang Feng. Just investigate this, and you will get the evidence you want. Chapter 603. In the deepest part of a mine tightly guarded by the Zhan clan's warlocks, a void assassin emerged from the void, appeared for a moment, and then disappeared into the void again. In that instant, the void assassin had clearly scanned the planar path that was under construction in the mine and entered its database. In the mine, a starry sky warlock with his eyes closed didn't notice that someone had just appeared here. As he browsed the information, Yang Feng mused, from the information she gave me, the Zhan family really colluded with the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poital of the 666th floor to unify the Ligui province. This was bad news for the Undying Mountain, who was bent on returning to the main world. Similarly, Great Cloud Dynasty doesn't want to see abyssal Grand Duke Poital occupy the Ligui province. If the entire Ligui province is occupied by abyssal Grand Duke Poital, then abyssal Grand Duke Poital will have a bridgehead to attack the Great Cloud Dynasty at will. That way, the Fallen Angel Legion could use the Ligui province as a forward base to attack the surrounding provinces. Every fallen angel in the Fallen Angel Corps required precious and powerful souls and various soul stones to be successfully created. The best soul materials for making fallen angels are human warlocks. Therefore, once abyssal Grand Duke Poital occupies the Ligui province, he will attack the Great Cloud Dynasty and plunder the souls of human warlocks. Yang Feng sneered in his heart, however, it's really wishful thinking for me to step forward. Even if the entire Ligui province is occupied by those abyssals, at worst I will just withdraw from the Ligui province. Since Bai Yuxian had evidence of the Zhan family colluding with Abyss Grand Duke Poital, but she didn't announce it to the world. Clearly, she didn't want to offend a colossus like the Zhan family. They just want Yang Feng to represent the Undying Mountain to expose the Zhan family's plot and make the Undying Mountain and the Zhan family mortal enemies. If the Undying Mountain really wanted to use the Ligui province as their base of return, they would never let go of such a good opportunity. After all, only by getting rid of the Zhan clan could the Undying Mountain take root in the Ligui province. This was an open and aboveboard plot that could not be rejected. However, the Undying Mountain is a fictitious force created by Yang Feng. It would be for the best if he could take control of the Ligui province. But if not, Yang Feng could withdraw from the Ligui province and go to other areas. A crafty rabbit has 3 burrows. Before entering the Ligui province, Yang Feng was prepared for failure. 10 days later, Moon Heaven City, End of the Moon. Bai Yuxian walked in the manor that was filled with countless flowers. She frowned and said thoughtfully, Lei Ming of the Undying Mountain is really a troublesome guy. He can really keep his composure. Not long after, Bai Yuxian sighed and said regretfully, it's a pity that I can only use another chess piece now. Bai Yuxian waved her jade-like hand and a white ray of light instantly disappeared into the void. Half a month of time, of the fiend, the water sea of the water clan, and sea of the world. Immediately afterward, explosive news spread from Water Moon Heaven to the entire Ligui province. One of the 5 heavenly kings, the Zhan family, colluded with the abyssal demon Grand Duke Poital of the 666th floor. The Li of the fiend of the Li province, the sea, and Grand. Once abyssal fiends came to the Ligui province, it will be a huge disaster for the Ligui province. The abyssal fiends of the 666th floor of the abyss are more orderly than abyssal fiends of other floors. But they won't show any mercy when slaughtering humans. The abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poital's Fallen Angel Legion has an illustrious reputation. But the birth of every fallen angel of his Fallen Angel Legion is accompanied by the death of countless human warlocks, and their souls seized. Abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poital doesn't care about the life and death of human warlocks. Once his Fallen Angel Legion comes to the Ligui province, they will slaughter humans and harvest the souls of the Ligui province's human warlocks. In addition to the Zhan family, the other 5 heavenly lords, 9 heavenly ogres, and the other 13 warlock giants formed the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. Almost 80% of the warlock groups in the Ligui province joined the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. Yang Feng also joined the Zhan Subjugation Alliance on behalf of the Undying Mountain. Although the Zhan family denied all the evidence released by the Zhan Subjugation Alliance, but the alliance still declared the Zhan family to be traitors of humanity. Under the order of the Zhan Subjugation Alliance, the warlock groups in the Zhan Subjugation Alliance took people to the Wave Cloud Mountain City. The Wave Cloud Mountain City is only 500 kilometers away from the Zhan family's largest stronghold, the Steel Tooth Fortress. For warlocks, this distance can be reached in an hour. As long as the Steel Tooth Fortress is captured, the hinterland of the Zhan family will be exposed to the Zhan Subjugation Alliance, which can attack the Zhan family from any direction. The Zhan family only has their holy land, the Wuhui Heaven City, as their final line of defense. The Wave Cloud Mountain City originally had a population of more than 1 million people. But more than 80% of the warlock groups in the Ligui province led their warlock legions here and stationed themselves around the Wave Cloud Mountain City. Stretching for hundreds of kilometers, you can see beautiful palaces everywhere. The means of warlocks are incredible. Naturally, the places where the warlock legions live are not simple barracks, but luxurious palaces. In the palaces, there are many ordinary people specially serving the warlock warriors. With a flash of light, a huge warship descended from the sky and landed in front of the Wave Cloud Mountain City. From the huge warship, 5,000 third-generation battle robots and 100,000 second-generation battle robots alighted in an orderly manner. The 105,000 battle robots exude an iron-blooded aura unique to elite warlock warriors of the Other Plane Development Division, making those who see them feel fear. A warlock came to Yang Feng and said respectfully, "Are you the Undying Mountain's young Master Lei?" "I am the Alliance's logistics officer Zhao Ming. We have arranged an encampment for you outside the city. Get out of the way, we want to enter the city. If you don't let the Undying Mountain enter the city, I will tear down the Wave Cloud Mountain City." Yang Feng pushed Zhao Ming aside domineeringly, and then arrogantly led the 105,000 battle robots into the Wave Cloud Mountain City. The elite troops commanded by the 5 Heavenly Lords and the 9 Heavenly Ogres are stationed in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. On the surface, Yang Feng's Undying Mountain is a warlock group not inferior to the 5 Heavenly Lords and the 9 Heavenly Ogres. How can they stay outside the city like ordinary warlock groups? The 105,000 battle robots simulated soaring killing intent and followed Yang Feng into the Wave Cloud Mountain City. The logistics officer in the Wave Cloud Mountain City was tossed around by Yang Feng. He could only give up the Warlock Legion's encampment in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. Otherwise, the Undying Mountain's Warlock Legion will fight with the Warlock Legion in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. As soon as Yang Feng returned to his dormitory, he calmly glanced at a corner of the room and said flatly, "Who's there? Come out." Amazing, as expected of the Undying Mountain's young master. A peerless beauty dressed like a man walked in with a smile on her face. She exuded an astonishing charm from head to toe, and every part of her seemed to be extremely beautiful. She was not the slightest bit inferior to Bai Yuxian. The peerless beauty said with a sweet smile, "I am Zhaning. Young Master Lei, won't you invite me to sit down?" Yang Feng sat down on a sofa. "Please sit down, Miss Zhan." A fragrance wafting out from her, Zhaning sat opposite Yang Feng. Yang Feng smiled maliciously and sized up Zhaning with a knife-like gaze. "Miss Zhan, for you to dare come to my camp, you're really bold. Outside my camp, there are 105,000 elites. So long as I give the order, Miss Zhan, I'm afraid that it will be difficult for you to leave my camp. The Zhan family is now the public enemy of the Ligui province. For the Zhan Subjugation Alliance, it will be a great contribution for me to keep you here." Zhaning is the leader of the Ligui province's 8 beauties, a peerless genius of the Zhan family. Her status in the Zhan family is even higher than that of Zhan Mingtang. She is the leader of the Zhan family's younger generation. She is the only female heir of the 5 Heavenly Lords and 9 Heavenly Ogres, the 14 warlock groups that dominate the Ligui province. Although Hua Xiangxuan is the young mistress of the Secret Treasure City, but she is not the heir chosen by the Secret Treasure City. She is just the daughter of the Secret Treasure City's city master, which is why she is addressed as young mistress. The successors of the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres of the 14 warlock groups must be the most outstanding supreme geniuses. Although Hua Xiangshuan is very outstanding, but in the secret treasure city, she isn't the most outstanding warlock genius. Zhang uttered with a smile, young Master Lei, someone as smart as you should know what it means for me to be here. Yang Feng uttered flatly, either you have been lurking in the city for a long time, or you have people in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. At this time, detection barriers have been set up everywhere in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, and dozens of extraordinary life forms with detection talent have been mobilized to cover the entrances to the city. It is extremely difficult to sneak into the Wave Cloud Mountain City without alarming anyone. Zhang uttered with a sweet smile, yes, we have people in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. If the Zhang family had the intention, the warlocks in the Wave Cloud Mountain City would have been easily wiped out. I came here to invite the Undying Mountain to join the Zhang family's alliance. As long as we win this time, the Ligui province will be in our pocket henceforth. Yang Feng uttered, the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres have formed an alliance. I don't think the Zhang family has any chance of winning. In the Ligui province, even the Great Cloud Dynasty's troops are not their match. Zhang offered a very generous condition: if something big happens, you can choose to remain neutral. After the Zhang family has decided a victor, it won't be too late to join the Zhang family. Chapter 604. Yang Feng contemplated for a while, and then said faintly, I can think about it. Zhang smiled lightly, and her body gradually faded away. Then I'll wait for your good news. The beauty had disappeared, and there was only a trace of fragrance left in the room. Sitting in the room, Yang Feng revealed a pensive expression. The Cloud Mist Hall in Billowcloud Mountain City was the headquarters of the Zhang Subjugation Alliance. In the Cloud Mist Hall, there is a dais suspended in the air, which is vaguely filled with 13 bright world warlock rank breaths. The Zhang Subjugation Alliance is a huge warlock alliance formed by most of the warlock groups in the Ligui province. If you can take control of this force, unifying the Ligui province won't be an issue. The ambitious and ruthless 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres naturally attach great importance to this alliance. Bright world warlocks who won't easily leave the headquarters also came here to compete for the leadership of the warlock alliance. Beneath the floating platform were 13 seats, each of which was occupied by the sect masters and clan chiefs of the 5 heavenly kings and 9 heavenly ghosts. Their words and deeds represent the will of the 13 bright world warlocks hidden on the dais. In the 2 rows of the Cloud Mist Hall, according to the strength of the warlock groups, stood the leaders of different warlock groups. The number was astonishing. As a representative of the Undying Mountain, Yang Feng stood on the right side of the hall closest to the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres. The fight between Yang Feng and Zhang Mingtang's subordinates has made the Undying Mountain's elites famous. The Undying Mountain Legion, formed from 5,000 Starry Sky Warlock rank 3rd generation battle robots, is something that even Glorious Dawn Warlocks are apprehensive of. The unfathomable strength of the Undying Mountain is already a fact recognized by all warlock groups in the Ligui province. It is recognized as a warlock group second only to the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres. Many warlock groups even believe that the Undying Mountain is stronger than the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres. But the Undying Mountain has never had a bright world warlock, so it can't compare to the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres. Among the 5 heavenly kings, Song Tianxiong, the patriarch of the Song clan, said slowly, now that everyone is here, let us announce our decision. From today onwards, the Zhang family is a traitor of the Ligui province and a traitor of the human race. After destroying the Zhang family's territory will be distributed according to everyone's contributions in the war. The 5 heavenly kings and 9 great heavenly ghosts formed the leaders of the allied forces, and Song Tianxiong was the nominal leader of the allied forces. The Song family was also the weakest among the 5 heavenly kings and 9 heavenly ghosts. Song Tianxiong being able to become the nominal leader of the allied forces was also the result of the compromise between the various forces. The bland words made the eyes of many warlock group leaders brighten slightly, and their eyes shimmered with excitement. The Ligui province is a province even larger than the Great Cloud Dynasty's 36 greater provinces. As one of the 5 heavenly kings, the Zhan family occupied a much larger territory than the entire Fuso subcontinent. If the Zhan family is destroyed, the warlock groups will get more territory and resources. This was one of the main reasons why the major warlock groups actively joined the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. Song Tianxiong's gaze fell on Yang Feng, and he asked flatly, Lei Ming, is your Undying Mountain willing to be the vanguard to crusade against the Zhan family? Yang Feng declined decisively, Great Commander, the Undying Mountain is too weak to play the role of vanguard. The Steel Tooth Fortress was one of the Zhan family's 9 most heavily defended strongholds, and it ranked second among the 9 strongholds. In the Steel Tooth Fortress, there were many warlock towers, glorious sun warlocks standing guard, and countless ordinary warlocks guarding the warlock towers. If Yang Feng mobilized the 105,000 primary battle robots to attack the Steel Tooth Fortress, they would definitely be smashed to pieces by the Steel Tooth Fortress. Warlock means were extremely strange, and Undyings weren't completely invincible. Similarly, they would be suppressed by powerful warlocks using all kinds of unimaginable spells. Yang Feng naturally wouldn't take the initiative to play the role of cannon fodder in the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. A slender warlock wearing a silver hat and a neat white warlock robe with a silver dragon embroidered on it walked out and said, Great Commander, I have something to say. Yang Feng glanced at the warlock and saw at a glance that the warlock is a glorious sun warlock. He is Yu Yinhui, the leader of the Silver Battle Dragon warlock group. In many small warlock groups, the strongest powerhouses were the warlock group's sect masters and sect masters. Only in a huge force with a long history like the demonic fighting sect had the great elders in charge. Song Tianxiong said flatly, Yu Yinhui, what do you have to say? Yu Yinhui smiled and uttered astonishing words, I have conclusive evidence that Lei Ming and the Undying Mountain have colluded with the Zhan family. They are traitors who infiltrated our ranks. When this statement came out, there was an uproar in the hall, and gazes full of apprehension, anger, killing intent, schadenfreude, and other emotions focused on Yang Feng. Yang Feng's voice turned cold and full of killing intent, what evidence do you have to prove that I colluded with the Zhan family? If you don't give me a reasonable explanation, the Undying Mountain and the Silver Battle Dragon Warlock will fight to the death. Of course I do. Take a look. The corners of Yu Yinhui's mouth rose slightly, he swept Yang Feng with a glance, and his eyes revealed a trace of pity. He spread the fingers of a hand, and a silver image crystal suddenly flew out, released rays of light, and formed a projection in the hall. In the projection, Zhaning appeared in Yang Feng's room, sat in front of Yang Feng, and then calmly disappeared, looking like she wanted to have a good chat with Yang Feng. The place where Zhan Ying's mouth can be seen is concealed very cleverly. It looks like Yang Feng and Zhaning are talking about some unspeakable secret. Looking at the projection of the image crystal, the faces of many warlock leaders turned unsightly, and they looked at Yang Feng with hostility. Everyone knows that once a traitor appears in the coalition army, the damage to the coalition army will be tremendous. Yang Feng just wanted to open his mouth to defend himself, when a lie detection spell shot out from the hand of the Qin family's patriarch Qin Sheng and landed on him. Pinnacle Glorious Sun Warlock rank might came from Qin Sheng and enveloped Yang Feng, and he barked, Lei Ming, tell me, is what happened in the image crystal true? Knowing that he fell into a trap, Yang Feng hurriedly defended himself, it's true, but, it's true. In that case, the Undying Mountain really colluded with the Zhan family. Damn it, you damned traitors of humanity. I, Qin Sheng, hate scum like you who collude with the outsiders the most in my life. Surrender now. A fierce gleam flashed in Qin Sheng's eyes, and a big hand grabbed Yang Feng. Don't kill. Suddenly, black runes diffused from Yang Feng's body, a look of despair streaked past his eyes, and he issued a miserable scream. Boom! Along with a loud noise, Yang Feng's body was torn apart and countless fragments scattered around. Qin Sheng was taken aback. Dead? What's going on? I didn't want to kill him. Song Tianxiong silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger, and detection spells shrouded the place where Yang Feng was, and the aura of soul collapse diffused from the area. From the suspended dais, a gray magic radiance shot towards Yang Feng's location. Countless tiny fragments flew up and condensed into an incomparably broken moonlight core in midair. A confused voice came from the dais suspended in the air. Is he really dead? The Undying Mountain is a force that possesses the Empyrean Grade Secret Method Life and Death Text. Among the many Empyrean Grade Secret Methods, Life and Death Text has the most profound research on the law of life and death. The Death Lord is the longest-living Warlock Emperor among the 8 Warlock Emperors. For Yang Feng, the young master of the Undying Mountain, to die so easily gives people a strong smell of a conspiracy. A cold ray streaked past Song Tianxiong's eyes, and he ordered decisively, the Undying Mountain colluded with the Zhan family. I hereby declare that the Undying Mountain is a traitor of the Ligui province. Pass down my order, immediately annihilate the Undying Mountain's legion. At this time, Yang Feng has died tragically in the hull. The Zhan Subjugation Alliance and the Undying Mountain have formed a feud. Under such circumstances, annihilating the Undying Mountain's legion is the only and correct choice for the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. At the moment of Yang Feng's tragic death, the 105,000 battle robots suddenly broke out of the Wave Cloud Mountain City as if they had gone mad. Yi Sheng, a moonlight warlock of the Yi family, along with 3,000+ warlocks of the Yi family, blocked in front of Yang Feng's mechanical legion and barked, "Stop! I am Yi Sheng, the commander of the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. Whoever dares to move will be killed without mercy." The 5,000 Undyings in the lead suddenly launched at full speed, and their speed increased to Mach 25 in an instant. With a flash of afterimages, Yi Sheng and the 3,000 Yi family warlocks were chopped into countless pieces and scattered on the ground. After killing the Yi family's obstructors, the 105,000 battle robots fled into the distance. A bunch of idiots, to clash head-on with the elite warriors of the Undying Mountain, how foolish. If we want to deal with these elite warriors, we naturally have to take advantage of their weakness. A burly expert of the Zhao family, Zhao Quangfeng, smiled coldly, took out a secret treasure level 7 flame vial, and pointed it at the battle robots. A fearsome attractive force gushed out from the flame vial and drew 300 second-generation battle robots into the flame vial. With a flash of light, the 300 modified second-generation primary battle robots were burned to ashes. Chapter 605. Using his glorious Sun Warlock rank cultivation base, Zhao Quangfeng just chased after the 105,000 mechanical legion and urged the secret treasure flame bottle to attack, destroying 300 battle robots with each attack. The mechanical legion tried to counterattack and surround Zhao Quangfeng several times, but Zhao Quangfeng easily escaped with all kinds of strange spells. Taking full advantage of the glorious Sun Warlock's mobility and the spells he mastered, Zhao Quangfeng used kiting tactics to destroy Yang Feng's mechanical legion without fighting it head-on. Moreover, he would only fight the mechanical legion in his best state. After consuming a little bit of his life force, he would immediately retreat and restore his strength. The warlock groups in the surroundings of the Wave Cloud Mountain City were dumbstruck. No one moved, they could only watch helplessly as Zhao Quangfeng hunted down the huge mechanical legion. Inside the Cloud Mist Hall. When the warlock leaders thought of the scene of Yang Feng being killed just now, many of them vaguely guessed some inside information. Many forces of the 5 Heavenly Lords and 9 Heavenly Ogres didn't want another powerful warlock group like the Undying Mountain to appear in the Ligui province. That's why Yang Feng was killed before he even had the chance to defend himself. With Yang Feng's death, there was no room for reconciliation between the Undying Mountain and the 5 Heavenly Lords and 9 Heavenly Ogres. The Zhan Subjugation Alliance could only join forces to expel the Undying Mountain from the Ligui province. Even if those people saw through something, they still remained silent and didn't say anything. Compared to the 5 Heavenly Lords and 9 Heavenly Ogres, they have no friendship with the Undying Mountain. Naturally, they didn't want to take the risk of offending the 13 powerhouses. The Zhan family's emissary, Zhan Ning, requests an audience. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the Cloud Mist Hall. Song Tianxiong frowned slightly and said, "Let her in." Since Zhang Ning turned out to be an emissary of the Zhan family, Song Tianxiong naturally couldn't ignore her. When Zhang Ning entered the hall, the entire hall seemed to brighten, and bursts of delicate fragrance came from her direction. Every single step she took seemed to carry a wisp of a fragrance that caused one's imagination to run wild, and it was extremely beautiful and filled with charm. Such grace, as expected of the #1 beauty of the Ligui province. In the reception hall, all the warlock leaders looked at Zhang Ning, and their eyes lit up slightly. The Ligui province is a lesser province larger than many of the greater provinces of the Great Cloud Dynasty's 36 greater provinces. Although the Ligui province was called a province, it was much larger than many plains. There are countless beauties in the Ligui province, and Zhang Ning is recognized as the #1 beauty in the Ligui province. Many warlock leaders have only heard of her name, but have never seen her. Seeing Zhang Ning's graceful bearing, the warlock leaders of the Ligui province have to admit that Zhang Ning is indeed worthy of the title of the Ligui province's #1 beauty. Zhang Ning bowed to Song Tianxiong and smiled. Zhang Ning greets the uncles. Song Tianxiong said coldly, Zhang Ning, are you here to represent the Zhan family to surrender to us? Zhang Ning said pitifully, no, I came this time to tell uncles that our Zhan family did not collude with Abyss Grand Duke Poidal. The evidence was faked. The person who forged the evidence is trying to provoke a conflict between our Zhan family and all of you uncles. I hope that all of you will investigate this. Song Tianxiong uttered coldly, Zhang Ning, you don't have to quibble. We have personally examined the evidence and used magic to detect it. Every piece of evidence points to the Zhan family. The evidence is definitely not fake. No matter how much the Zhan family quibbles, it's useless. If you came here today just to say this, then please go back. Since uncles don't want to listen to my explanation, then I can only ask you to die. Zhang Ning sighed faintly and raised her lily-white hand, and a pair of butterfly wings suddenly appeared behind her. With a flap, starlight like powder filled the hall. Fool, a trifling moonlight warlock dares to behave atrociously in front of us, how reckless. Since you took the initiative to attack, then it's not against the rules for us to kill you. Lu Bowen's eyes shimmered fiercely, and he smiled ferociously, and quasi-bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power gushed out of him. Suddenly, Yi Nanshan of the Yi family waved his hand, and a 10-meter-long giant sword suddenly erupted and slashed sideways. Caught off guard, Lu Bowen's body was cut into two by the giant sword. In the next moment, at the place where Lu Bowen's body was cut, a special evil ogre scapegoat inscribed with countless runes appeared. The scapegoat has been cut in two, its life force extinguished. The space next to him blurred, and Lu Bowen's complete body appeared. Scapegoat is one of the highest secret methods recorded in the Netherman Ogre Dragon. Lu Bowen can turn a glorious dawn warlock into a scapegoat through various evil secret methods. The scapegoat can die in Lu Bowen's place once. Unless it is a monarch-grade karma secret treasure weapon or above, it can kill Lu Bowen with a sword strike. Before that scapegoat can be activated, Lu Bowen will be killed. Shocked and angry, Lu Bowen roared wildly, Yi Nanshan, are you crazy? If Lu Bowen hadn't refined two scapegoats, he would have died at Yi Nanshan's hands. The long sword in Yi Nanshan's hand was a rank 7 secret artifact, the Black Death Sword. Once hit by the Black Death Sword, many life-saving secret methods of a glorious dawn warlock will be broken. Only a peerless secret technique like Scapegoat could block the Black Death Sword's sure-kill attack. Just as Lu Bowen was shocked and angry, bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power came from the dais of the Cloud Mist Hall. The dais exploded, and a violent shock wave spread in all directions. 14 figures flew out from the dais and divided into two sides, with 7 figures on each side. Among the 7 figures on one side, one had pitch-black poisonous needles stuck in his back. Another had a black dagger pierced through his heart. Countless black runes filled the air and corroded his entire body. The 2 seriously injured Bright World Warlocks collapsed in the hands of the other 2 Bright World Warlocks, their eyes losing their luster. What's going on? Isn't that the Zhan family's great elder Zhan Hongtao? How come he's here? The two great elders of the Seven Stars Abode and the Thunder Demon sect are under the control of the Yi family's great elder Yi Chen and the Chen family's great elder Chen Lei. What the hell is going on? Inside the hall, the warlock leaders of the Zhan Subjugation Alliance looked at the bright world warlocks in the sky with stunned expressions, and an ominous premonition welled up inside them. Some neutral warlock leaders had an ominous premonition, and their figures fluttered, and they tried to escape. A battle between bright world warlock ranked powerhouses isn't something they can easily intervene in. As soon as the warlock leaders moved, they felt a slight pain in their heads, and life force seemed to be flowing out of their bodies. A fierce expression on his face, the great elder of the Water Moon Heaven roared, "Yi Chen, you colluded with the Zhan family. Why? Why did you betray us?" The handsome and elegant great elder of the Yi family Yi Chen said with a smile, "The Ligui province is too small to accommodate so many forces. The 5 heavenly lords are enough. The 9 heavenly ogres don't need to exist. It wasn't the Zhan family that colluded with the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal, but the 5 of us colluded with the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal in order to bury the 9 heavenly ogres here." The Song family's great elder Song Jin silently recited an incantation and waved his hand, and a huge gate appeared behind him. The huge gate opened, and a dense crowd of beautiful fallen angels with a pair of black wings on the back flew out. Unlike the angels exuding a holy aura, the fallen angels exuding a seductive and sexy aura flew out of the gate. Each fallen angel has great warlock rank fluctuations of power, and there is no lack of starry sky warlock and moonlight warlock rank fallen angels. When the great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon saw the dense crowd of fallen angels, his eyes darkened, and apprehension streaked past his eyes. A fallen angel legion? A fallen angel legion of the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal. In the countless planes, in addition to the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal, there are many wicked and powerful existences who use holy souls and soul stones to create a powerful fallen angel legion. However, the fallen angel legion under the command of the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal has acted several times in the Tsangji plane, setting off countless carnage each time. The legion has even slain warlock monarch-ranked powerhouses. After more than 100,000 years of war, the fallen angel legion's powerhouses are comparable to the strongest warlocks of the same rank. Moreover, they are proficient in joint attacks, which makes them extremely difficult to deal with. The great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon barked, "Kill them all. We can't let them summon blazing angel rank fallen angels. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome." Blazing angels are top-notch existences among the 9 grades of angels, and they have virtually infinite evolution potential. Top blazing angels are fearsome weapons that can even slay supreme gods. Of course, the weakest blazing angels possess pinnacle starry sky warlock ranked power. A bright world warlock ranked blazing angel is a terrifying existence comparable to a human bright world warlock who formed a virtual world. Only by using powerful secret treasures can human warlocks defeat such blazing angels. The great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon roared furiously, blurred into motion, and turned into a 1,000-meter-long Netherworld Ogre Dragon with half of its body in the Netherworld and the other half in the shape of a dragon and a fiend. It has a ferocious head and a dragon-shaped body engraved with countless mysterious runes. Chapter 606. Netherworld Ogre Dragons are extraordinary life forms that live in the crevice between the Netherworld and the Plane of Dragons. Adult Netherworld Ogre Dragons possess bright world warlock rank power, and can even contend against some weak junior infinity warlock rank extraordinary life forms. Netherworld Ogre Dragons are the bloodline of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon of the highest level. When the great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon transformed into a Netherworld Ogre Dragon, the cloud mist hall burst apart and countless barriers collapsed. The great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon extended his dragon claw and grabbed at the gate, which was constantly summoning fallen angels, with berserk Netherworld aura. The Netherworld Ogre Dragon contains the laws of the Netherworld. If an ordinary human is contaminated with a trace of Netherworld Ogre Dragon's aura, their soul will fall into the Netherworld and fall into the Styx. Even if it is a great warlock rank fallen angel, their soul will fall into the Styx, and they won't be able to return to the 666th floor of the abyss. The great elder of the Zhao family, Zhao Zihong, silently recited an incantation and flipped his hand, and a level 8 secret treasure Mount Tai shield engraved with countless mysterious runes appeared in his hand. The Mount Tai shield shone, and a huge mountain blocked in front of the great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon. The great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon, transformed into a Netherworld Ogre Dragon, is in existence with the most terrifying destructive power among the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres. The Mount Tai shield is recognized as the level 8 secret treasure with the strongest defensive power in the Ligui province. The two extremely powerful forces collided with each other, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Violent shockwaves spread out in all directions. The fallen angels that flew out of the gate spread their black wings, scattered along with the violent shock wave, and formed small attack groups that rushed towards the warlock leaders of the Ligui province on the ground. Mere 5 great warlock rank fallen angels want to kill me. They're overestimating themselves. A warlock leader with a Moonlight warlock rank cultivation base looked at the 5 fallen angels flying over and smiled coldly. But suddenly, he was alarmed to find that the life force inside him dissipated like an avalanche. The 5 beautiful and sexy fallen angels flew to the side of the warlock leader, brandished their swords, and black light shone. The warlock leader was instantly cut into pieces, and the Moonlight core was accurately dug out by a fallen angel. The fallen angels that flew out of the gate besieged the Ligui province's warlock leader. Except for some glorious sun warlocks who could barely put up a fight, most of the other Moonlight warlocks felt their life force pour out. Even resisting the great warlock rank fallen angels was very difficult. The remaining 7 heavenly ogre rank bright world warlocks didn't care about the life or death of the warlock leaders. Each of them used their strongest spells and blasted towards the huge mountain range formed from the Mount Tai shield. The great elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre turned into a 500-meter tall Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, slammed a Warlock Monarch rank giant spine into the huge mountain range formed from the Mount Tai shield, and with each strike, the huge mountain range collapsed, and countless fragments splashed about. The great elder of the Purgatory Ogre turned into a 900-meter tall Purgatory Ogre, exuding Purgatory breath, and has a horn on his head. Manipulating Purgatory fire, he fought fiercely with the great elder of the Zhan family, Zhan Hongtao. The Ogre Insect Pavilion's great elder flicked his wrist, and a swarm of soul-devouring ants, one of the 13 ancient ghost insects, suddenly flew out. The swarm of more than 10 million soul-devouring ants turned into a black insect cloud and swept towards the Yi family's great elder Yi Chen. The Cool Breeze Abode's great elder is an elemental warlock. Manipulating the 4 elements of wind, fire, water, and earth, as if he is the lord of creation, he formed all kinds of elemental disasters barreling towards the Qin family's great elder Qinlei. The Secret Treasure City's great elder used the level 8 Secret Treasure Light Soul Seal Mind Bead to fight the Song family's great elder Song Jin. The Water Moon Heaven's great elder turned into a bright moon, and endless moonlight fell on the huge mountain range formed from the Mount Tai shield. Wherever the moonlight shone, the huge mountain range collapsed. Many fallen angels have just flown out of the gate, when they were purified by the moonlight of the bright moon and turned into dust. Under the frenzied attacks of the Netherworld Ogre Dragon, the hegemonic Evil Ogre, and the Strange Moon, the Mount Tai shield, worthy of being the strongest defensive secret treasure of the Ligui province, forcibly blocked the siege of 3 bright world warlocks. Zhao Zihong, who controlled the Mount Tai shield, frantically urged his life force and inhaled a tremendous amount of life magic energy, clenched his teeth, and struggled to hold on. Suddenly, the Netherworld Ogre Dragon's great elder incarnated into a Netherworld Ogre Dragon turned around and extended a huge dragon claw, tore through the void, and slammed towards the back of the Qin family's great elder Qinlei. Suppressed by the Cool Breeze Abode's great elder with various elemental spells, Qinlei could barely defend himself no matter how hard he tried. The Netherworld Ogre Dragon's crazy attack blasted through his body protection spell, and fearsome nether breath began to invade his soul in an instant. The great elder of the Water Moon Heavens incarnated into a bright moon flashed, and a copious amount of moonlight suddenly condensed into a moonlight arrow that seems capable of purifying and annihilating everything in the world, tore through the void, and stabbed towards Qinlei. Faced with this sure-kill blow, Qinlei spewed out a large mouthful of blood essence, and his body blurred. The Qin family's patriarch switched places with Qinlei. The moonlight arrow slammed into the Chen family's patriarch. A look of horror on his face, the Chen family's patriarch with a glorious dawn warlock rank cultivation base collapsed inch by inch, and eventually his soul was extinguished. Bloodline substitution, this is one of the strongest life-saving secret methods Chen Lei has mastered. As long as there is a glorious dawn warlock rank bloodline nearby, Chen Lei can cast this secret method to help him resist death once. Bloodline substitution is a more advanced secret method than the scapegoat secret method. Of course, the conditions are more stringent. You need a close relative who is strong enough to die as a substitute. Chen Lei gritted his teeth, his face changed several times, and he recited an incantation, turned into a black ray, and fled into the distance. The Netherman Ogre Dragon's nether breath is extremely corrosive, eroding Chen Lei's soul and mind at all times. If it was one-on-one, then it wouldn't be a big deal. But now that two bright world warlocks besieged him, if he doesn't escape, he will be in danger of dying. The great elder of the cool breeze abode manipulated wind, fire, water, and earth elemental forces and formed 4 elemental natural disasters barreling towards the Song family's great elder Song Jin. The netherworld ogre dragon also extended its claw, and, carrying nether breath, grabbed at Song Jin from behind. The great elder of the secret treasure city controlled the light soul seal mind bead and pointed it at Song Jin, and countless runes formed a ray of light containing countless tiny chains shooting toward Song Jin. Faced with the joint attack of 3 bright world warlocks, Song Jin's face fell, and a white book suddenly flew out, and 3 pieces of white paper flew out. As soon as the 3 pieces of white paper flew into the air, they changed into Song Jin's appearance and shot towards the attacks of the 3 bright world warlocks. When the attacks of the 3 bright world warlocks slammed into the 3 Song Jin doppelgangers, the 3 Song Jin doppelgangers were smashed to pieces in an instant. Song Jin, using a strange secret method, appeared dozens of kilometers away, a dignified expression on his face. The secret method Song Jin Gang just cast is called Bloodline Cloud Paper Substitute. Each of the 3 pieces of white paper cost him a lot of blood essence to refine. At the crucial moment, there would be an unimaginably strange power. However, Song Jin has only refined 10 pieces of this kind of white paper. After all, each time he refines one, it takes 10 years of his lifespan and slightly damages his soul origin. It isn't a treasure that can be refined indefinitely. Each of the 3 bright world warlocks is stronger than Song Jin Gang. Except for Zhao Zihong, who has the Mount Tai shield, none of the other bright world warlocks can resist the joint attack of the 3 bright world warlocks. Zhao Zihong barked, Grand Duke Poidal, if you don't send someone over, we'll have to retreat. Before we leave, we'll destroy the planar passageway leading to the endless abyss. Each of the Li Gui province's great elders of the 9 heavenly ogres is tyrannical. Although the 5 heavenly lords relied on sneak attacks to seriously injure 2 bright world warlocks who sealed the 9 heavenly ogres, but the remaining 7 great elders of the 9 heavenly ogres are still astonishingly strong. In particular, the netherworld ogre dragon, with its huge body and attacks containing nether breath, is a nightmare for other warlocks of the same rank. Once you are hit by the netherworld ogre dragon, your mind and soul will be eroded by nether breath, making it extremely difficult to deal with. A strange laughter filled with a strange and dangerous aura resonated from the other side of the door. A beautiful seraph with long purple hair, a slender figure about 1.83 meters tall, a slim waist and plump buttocks. Her twin peaks were almost bursting out of her clothes. She had 3 pairs of fallen angel wings that were as black as ink and was holding a fallen angel sword. She stepped out of the door with a heroic aura. Alexia, the commander of the 10th Legion under my Lord Poidal's command, has come to suppress my lord's enemies. Alexia stepped out of the door like a valiant Valkyrie, and the door immediately collapsed, turning into dust and disintegrating. After all, the gate isn't a real planar passageway, but a temporary gate opened with the help of a nearby planar passageway leading to the endless abyss. For a bright world warlock rank blazing angel like Alexia to pass through it is already the limit. As if announcing the will of the gods, Alexia's beautiful eyes burned with fierce fighting spirit. The pitch-black fallen angel wings flapped, and she disappeared in an instant. She strangely appeared behind the head of the Purgatory Ogre's great elder and slashed down with her sword. Chapter 607. Alexia's fallen angel sword contained a terrifying dark power, making the fallen angel sword invincible and unbreakable. Even a warlock monarch-ranked powerhouse wouldn't dare to resist the fallen angel sword with their fleshly body. Dazzling black sword rays enveloped the Purgatory Ogre the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre has transformed into. In an instant, the fleshly body of the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre was torn apart, and countless pieces of flesh and blood splashed about. A bright world core carrying the soul of the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre suddenly ejected, turned into a dazzling meteor, and flew into the distance. Alexia's figure blurred, and a black sword ray slashed at the bright world core, and dark force twisted and destroyed the soul of the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre attached to the bright world core. At the same time, a powerful soul force entered the fallen angel's sword in her hand. Most of the souls of intelligent life forms killed by abyssal fiends will fall into the endless abyss. Only the true believers of the gods and above will be taken away by the divine country of the gods. As for the souls of those intelligent life forms that were killed by the fallen angels, their souls would be sucked into the fallen angel's sword and brought back to their masters. Once abyssal fiends, fallen angels, and other life forms of the endless abyss come to the primary material plane, they will go on a killing spree in order to harvest the souls of intelligent life forms. No powerful existence of the primary material plane is willing to see abyssal life forms run amok on their plane. The abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal has attacked the Tsangji plane several times and even killed 2 warlock monarchs. But he still can't gain a foothold in the Tsangji plane because the human warlocks of the Tsangji plane don't want them to gain a foothold in the Tsangji plane. Amazing! So this is the blazing angel with the greatest evolution potential and the strongest fighting strength among angels. Seeing the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre easily slay by Alexia, shock welled up in the hearts of the bright world warlocks present. The great elder of the Purgatory Ogre is a pinnacle powerhouse among bright world warlocks. After he transformed into a Purgatory Ogre, even bright world warlocks of the same rank are apprehensive of Purgatory fire. Even if such a powerhouse is ambushed by a bright world warlock of the same rank, they won't be killed so easily. For Alexia to be able to easily slay the great elder of the Purgatory Ogre, it shows that she is far stronger than ordinary bright world warlocks. The expression of the Netherman Ogre Dragon Supreme Elder changed greatly. He shouted sternly, "Use the light soul sealing spirit pearl to seal her and continue to kill the others. We must eliminate the others in the shortest time possible." The great elder of the secret treasure city silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger, and the level 8 secret treasure light soul seal mind bead suddenly flew out, released dazzling light and split into 9 beads in the air. The beads shone brightly and formed a sealing barrier that completely sealed the space where Alexia was. Alexia waved the fallen angel sword in her hand and a black sword light slashed at the seal barrier, causing a crack to appear on the seal barrier. As soon as the crack appeared, it healed completely. So this is a blazing angel of Poidal's fallen angel legion. As expected of a bright world warlock who formed a virtual world, she's a fearsome existence. The face of the great elder of the secret treasure city flushed, blood dripped from the corners of his mouth, and his eyes flashed with endless shock. The great elder of the secret treasure city used almost all the power of the level 8 secret treasure light soul seal mind bead. At the same time, he merged with the light soul seal mind bead's barrier, and only then did he barely manage to seal Alexia. If it was a bright world warlock of the 5 heavenly lords or 9 heavenly ogres, then even if the great elder of the Netherman Ogre Dragon who has transformed into a Netherworld Ogre Dragon attacked for 5 days and 5 nights, he still wouldn't be able to break the seal barrier. But Alexia smashed the barrier formed by the light soul seal mind bead with a single sword strike and injured the great elder of the secret treasure city. The gap between the two sides is clear to see. The great elder of the cool breeze abode cast various elemental spells barreling towards Zhan Hongtao. Under the elemental attacks, Zhan Hongtao was suppressed again, and had to resort to various methods to defend and retreat. The great elders of the Netherman Ogre Dragon and Water Moon Heaven besieged Song Jin. Under the siege of two Bright World warlocks, Song Jin could only retreat again and again, barely holding on. At this moment, the sounds of fighting came from the Wave Cloud Mountain City. The warlock legions subordinated to the five heavenly lords raised their butcher knives against their allies and attacked the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups. Caught off guard, the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups suffered heavy casualties. The warlock group of the Zhan family and the fallen angels also besieged the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups, forcing them to retreat again and again. When the remaining great elders of the 6 heavenly ogre sensed the changes in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, their hearts filled with anxiety. Once the warlock legions of the 5 heavenly lords wipe out the warlock legions of the 9 heavenly ogre. Once the warlock legions of the 5 heavenly lords arrive to reinforce them, no matter how strong the remaining great elders of the 6 heavenly ogre are, they will be seriously injured, or even killed. Even warlock monarch rank powerhouses will be besieged by the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal's fallen angel legion. If the rigorously trained warlock legions are led by glorious sun warlocks, they can also pose a threat to bright world warlocks. Eyes shot with blood, the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon roared wildly, "Let's go all out. If we don't, we'll be killed by these damn traitors." The 1,000-meter-long Netherworld ogre dragon incarnated from the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon opened his maw and inhaled, and a bottle of Netherworld holy blood the size of a grain of rice entered his maw. The Netherworld holy blood is a bottle of holy blood left behind by a holy spirit warlock rank Netherman ogre dragon after he died. This is one of the trump cards of the Netherman ogre dragon. Once he drinks this bottle of holy blood, the strength of the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon will soar in a short period of time.
But as time passes, the backlash force of the holy blood will even harm the foundation of the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon. When the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon swallowed the bottle of holy blood, his strength suddenly soared by 40%. He stretched out his claw. It was as if his claw had pierced through the layers of space and appeared behind Yi Chen in an inconceivable manner. Then, he grabbed wildly. Yi Chen's face fell, and he spewed out a large mouthful of blood essence, and his body blurred. When the claw of the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon slammed into Yi Chen was crushed into countless fragments. Floating in the void, the supreme elder of Water Moon Heaven, who was like a moonlight, also began to fight desperately. The moonlight suddenly expanded, and a beam of moonlight filled with murderous intent descended from the sky, crazily blasting towards the void. Yi Chen has just escaped from the great elder of the Netherman ogre dragon. As soon as he appeared, he was hit by the beam of moonlight filled with killing intent, and his fleshly body collapsed. With a flash of light, petals of the extraordinary plant 9 Night Silver Flower wrapped Yi Chen's bright world core, turned into a stream of black light and entered the void. What's going on? As soon as Yi Chen escaped into the void, he saw that the void is filled with Yang Feng's 3rd-generation battle robots, and his eyes flashed with shock. Sealers suddenly flew out and released sealing halos that hit Yi Chen's bright world core. The bright world core, which was originally as fast as lightning, became slower and slower under the layers of seals. With a flash of distorted light, the 9 Night Silver Flower turned into Yi Chen's fleshly body. Yi Chen turned into a 1-meter-tall warlock and said loudly, "Which friend is here?" "I am Yi Chen, a great elder of the Yi family of the Ligui province's 5 heavenly lords. Please do me a favor and let me leave this place. My Yi family will repay your kindness." The swarm of sealers released sealing halos. At the same time, a large number of devourers flew over, pounced on Yi Chen, and devoured his life force. Having lost his powerful fleshly body, Yi Chen can only watch in horror and despair as his life force is devoured by the devourers, and finally sealed by the countless sealers using sealing halos. Distorted fluctuations flashed, and all the main battle robots in the void turned invisible, disappearing from the void as if they didn't exist. The great elder of the cool breeze abode roared and frantically urged his life force, and a violent storm and a scarlet sea of fire enveloped the 2 bright world warlocks Zhao Zihong and Song Jin respectively. The fighting strength of elemental warlocks is slightly better than that of other types of warlocks. Although Zhao Zihong has the level 8 secret treasure Mount Tai shield, his defense is rock solid, but his offensive power isn't outstanding. If the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode goes all out, he can entangle the two Bright World Warlocks Zhao Zihong and Zhan Hongtao for some time. The Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven, and the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon frantically urged their life force and attacked Song Jin. Sheets of white paper changed into Song Jin's appearance and blocked the siege of the four Great Elders one after another. In just a dozen plus breaths of time, the 10 bloodline cloud papers in Song Jin's hand disappeared. After the bloodline cloud papers disappeared, Song Jin sighed helplessly, blurred into motion, and fled into the distance without hesitation. Faced with the four Bright World Warlocks who are going all out, if he stays, he can only last for a few dozen breaths of time at most before his soul is extinguished.
As soon as Song Jin fled, the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven, and the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon turned around and besieged Zhan Hongtao. Chapter 608. The remaining 6 Supreme Elders of the Heavenly Ogres had a very clear idea. Their biggest goal now was to defeat the 5 Heavenly Kings, not to kill them. The Great Elders of the 5 Heavenly Lords are all Bright World Warlocks. If they are bent on escaping, it will be extremely difficult to kill them. But once the Great Elders of the 5 Heavenly Lords are defeated in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, then the elite troops of the 5 Heavenly Lords will be slaughtered by the 6 Heavenly Ogres. Even if the 5 Heavenly Lords are lucky enough to escape, the 6 Heavenly Ogres can at least join forces to keep a Great Elder of the 5 Heavenly Lords here. Coupled with the 5 Heavenly Lords' forces, they can take over the Warlock forces of the Zhan Subjugation Alliance. The 6 Heavenly Ogres can quickly expand their forces and become more powerful. At this time, Zhan Hongtao is hiding behind Zhao Zihong's Mount Tai shield. Under the siege of the 5 Bright World Warlocks, the level 8 secret treasure Mount Tai shield that has transformed into a huge mountain collapsed inch by inch. It'll be too late if I don't leave now. With a thought, Zhan Hongtao silently recited an incantation, his body blurred, and he turned into a ray of light and fled into the distance. Zhao Zihong's face fell, and he cursed, "You damn bastards." Letting Zhan Hongtao escape, the 5 Heavenly Ogres besieged Zhao Zihong, wanting to kill him in the shortest time possible. A series of spatial spells spread throughout the void, completely blocking Zhao Zihong's escape route. The level 8 secret treasure Mount Tai shield is known as the number 1 level 8 defensive secret treasure in the Ligui province. Zhao Zihong is also known as the Mount Tai tortoise. On many occasions, Zhao Zihong has used the Mount Tai shield to defend himself to the death, causing more trouble than a Bright World Warlock. Only then did the 5 Heavenly Ogres go all out to kill Zhao Zihong. As long as Zhao Zihong dies, the remaining 6 Heavenly Ogres will have the upper hand in the Ligui province. Under the frenzied siege of the 5 Heavenly Ogres, the Mount Tai shield formed from the level 8 secret treasure Mount Tai was blasted to pieces. Struck by the Netherworld Ogre Dragon, the Mount Tai shield was sent flying, and a crack appeared on the side of the shield. The moment the Mount Tai shield was sent flying, Zhao Zihong bellowed, "I surrender." As a Bright World Warlock, Zhao Zihong still has a long life. He didn't want to die like this. A resplendent moonlight arrow descended from the sky and slammed into Zhao Zihong. Under the purification of the moonlight, Zhao Zihong's body gradually collapsed. Wind blades containing the law of wind slashed at Zhao Zihong's body, slicing it open inch by inch. A massive purple flame gushed out from the void, madly burning Zhao Zihong's broken body, burning it into ashes. Among Bright World Warlocks, many warlocks have incredible life-saving secret methods. If their soul attaches to a part of their body and escapes, they can quickly be reborn. A black light shot out from Zhao Zihong's broken body and shot into the distance like a meteor. A ray of moonlight fell from the sky and illuminated the black light. In the center of the black light, there was a bright world core with a black aura twisting and wriggling. It let out miserable screams before it was purified. Finally killed. The great elders of the 5 Heavenly Ogres breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this scene. Bright World Warlocks have endless life-saving methods. Once they are forced into a desperate situation, who knows what kind of desperate secret methods they will use. The great elders of the 5 heavenly ogres let Zhan Hongtao go and targeted Zhao Zihong. It is better to cut off 1 finger than to injure 5 fingers. The great elders of the 5 heavenly ogres naturally understand this simple principle. Help me! Suddenly, a scream came from the side, and a black sword ray shot out from the light soul seal god bead's boundary. The sword ray shrouded in endless darkness slashed at the great elder of the secret treasure city and cut him in 2. The body of the great elder of the secret treasure city blurred, as if he operated a death substitution secret treasure. As the black sword light slashed down, a terrifying dark force followed the karma threads and slashed at the death substitution artifacts one by one. The death substitution secret treasures prepared by the great elder of the secret treasure city exploded one after another, and finally his body was split in 2. Eroded by dark force, his life force was extinguished, his soul shattered, and he fell from the sky. Alexia beckoned with her hand, and the light soul seal god bead flew into her hand and disappeared. The great elders of the 5 heavenly ogres looked at Alexia standing proudly in the void, and felt a chill in their hearts. Among the 5 of them, one of them might be able to defeat the great elder of Secret Treasure City, but it was almost impossible to kill the great elder. Even if the 5 of them join forces, they may not be able to kill the great elder of the Secret Treasure City who has many life-saving secret treasures. She must be killed. Otherwise, we will have no place in the Ligui province. I will seal her movements. Water-moon barrier. The moon formed by the supreme elder of water-moon heaven seemed to be burning. Beams of moonlight fell from the sky and landed on the ground, completely covering and sealing the surrounding 100 miles, forming a strange water-moon boundary that looked like a moon and water. Alexia's figure fluttered. With a flash of black light, she appeared at the edge of the water-moon barrier and slashed at it with her sword. A dark force shrouded the fallen angel's sword and caused the water-moon barrier to ripple. The water-moon barrier, however, remained motionless. Alexia couldn't help but frown slightly. She is indeed very strong, far stronger than any of the 5 Bright World Warlocks. One-on-one, she can slay the great elders of the 5 heavenly ogres one by one. But to face 5 Bright World Warlocks at the same time, even she may not be at her peak. Most of the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres in the Ligui province are warlock groups with a long history and strong underlying strength. They even killed 6 pinnacle Bright World Warlocks of the Great Cloud Dynasty's expeditionary army. In the end, they were forced to abandon the Ligui province, only leaving a symbolic stronghold in the Ligui province. Each of the remaining 5 heavenly ogres possesses pinnacle Bright World Warlock rank battle prowess. According to Alexia's original plan, she would naturally withdraw first, join up with the remaining forces of the 5 heavenly lords, and then kill the 5 heavenly ogres one by one, and finally take control of the entire Ligui province. But the 5 heavenly ogres also understand that once Alexia escapes and joins up with the remaining 4 heavenly lords, the 5 heavenly ogres will be in danger. The 5 great sky ogres were in great danger. They could only hide in their lair and let the 4 heavenly kings attack and erode their forces. Otherwise, they would be in danger of being killed by Alexia. Eyes shot with blood, the great elder of the thunder demon evil ogre roared, and his body shrank by a large margin. He turned into a 10-meter tall thunder demon evil ogre engraved with countless runes, and a pair of thunder demon evil ogre wings covered in sharp barbs extended from his body. This is the second battle form of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre. Every second the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre transforms into the second battle form consumes 1 year of his lifespan. In the second battle form, the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre can even kill a quasi-infinity warlock within 3 minutes. And he can maintain this second battle form for a maximum of 5 minutes. The figure of the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre fluttered, and he appeared in front of Alexia and aimed his 30-centimeter-long claws at Alexia's vitals. Alexia brandished the fallen angel's sword in her hand, and with a series of strange sword shadows, she sent the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre's claws flying one by one. At the same time, she continuously counterattacked, slashing the thunder demon evil ogre's body, leaving countless wounds on its body. Originally, under the corrosion of the dark power of the fallen angel's sword, the wounds couldn't be healed. However, under the terrifying recovery ability of the demon evil ogre's second form, the wounds healed at an astonishing speed. Although the great elder of the thunder demon evil ogre is at a disadvantage, but his eyes were shot with blood and surged with fighting spirit, and he blocked Alexia. However, everyone knows that the great elder of the thunder demon evil ogre isn't a real thunder demon evil ogre after all. As such, he can't maintain the second battle form for too long. Once his strength drops a little, he will be killed by Alexia with a sword strike. The great elder of the cool breeze abode gritted his teeth, flipped his hand, took out a silver chain, sprayed a mouthful of blood on the chain, and poured the 4 elemental forces of wind, fire, water, and earth into the silver chain. The silver chain is called Elemental Lock. It is a level 9 elemental secret treasure and one of the trump cards of the cool breeze abode. Ordinarily, the great elder of the cool breeze abode doesn't have the strength to wield the elemental lock. But now that he is desperately burning his blood essence, unleashing secret methods, and enhancing his strength, he barely reached the bottom line of wielding the elemental lock. The elemental lock suddenly shone, turned into a silver ray, and shot towards Alexia lightning fast. Alexia, who had been very calm, finally had a slight change in expression on her beautiful face. She silently chanted the incantation, and countless black runes lingered on the fallen angel's sword in her hand. She slashed at the elemental shackles in a frenzy. The violent dark force and the powerful elemental force permeating the elemental lock intertwined, and the 2 terrifying forces were locked in a stalemate. Under the terrifying force, the countless ghost insects released by the great elder of the ogre insect pavilion were blown away. A palm-sized ghost bug silently flew towards Alexia's neck and fiercely bit her. Chapter 609. With a flash of black light, the palm-sized poisonous insect disintegrated, and a copious amount of black venom sputtered out of the poisonous insect, which was sent flying by Alexia's dark force. The palm-sized poisonous insect is called Fallen God Insect, and it possesses a terrifying venom. If bitten by it, even an Infinity Warlock will be paralyzed, and then eventually corroded by the venom and die. Even abyssal fiends with extremely high poison resistance cannot resist the venom of fallen god insects. The Ogre Insect Pavilion has spent countless years to only cultivate one fallen god insect. Eyes shot with blood, the great elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion roared wildly, "Damn fallen angel, you dare to kill my fallen god insect. When I capture you alive, I will turn you into a nest for cultivating poisonous insects." There are countless secret methods to cultivate poisonous insects in the Ogre Insect Pavilion, among which there are many methods to cultivate poisonous insects using living beings. Letting poisonous insects build nests in the bodies of living beings is the most terrifying torture method of the Ogre Insect Pavilion. Countless black runes extended along Alexia's snow-white neck towards her delicate body and eroded her body and soul. The great elder of the Netherman Ogre Dragon, who has transformed into a Netherworld Ogre Dragon, appeared behind Alexia and stabbed at her with a claw containing nether breath. A dark glint flashed in Alexia's eyes, and she spread open her 3 pairs of black wings. Countless black feathers of light shot out in all directions. The dense black feathers pierced through the magic shields of the great elder of the Netherman Ogre Dragon, the great elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, and the great elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, pierced through their defensive barriers, and hit the water-moon boundary. In a flash, the black feathers turned into black flames that devoured the flesh and soul of the great elder of the Netherman Ogre Dragon, the great elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, and the great elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre. They screamed miserably and suffered damage to their origin. The great elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion was hit by the black feathers the most. As if shrouded in black flames, he struggled frantically and screamed. As soon as the black wings were activated, Alexia's breath suddenly declined, and the silver elemental lock blurred and appeared in front of her, turned into a pair of silver shackles, and locked Alexia firmly. A powerful dark power erupted from Alexia's body, but it was firmly sealed by the silver shackles and forcibly suppressed into her body. Countless silver runes extended along the shackles and firmly sealed Alexia. At this moment, 100 kilometers away from the water-moon boundary, the space blurred of the concealment system was activated, and an interstellar fleet formed of 30 Star Destroyer battlestars and of the concealment system was activated. The Star Destroyer artilleries mounted on the Star Destroyer battlestars shone brightly, and 30 resplendent beams slammed into the water-moon boundary the Great Elder of the water-moon heaven has conjured. When the Great Elder of the water-moon heaven was hit by the 30 Star Destroyer artilleries, which is equivalent to being hit by 30 pinnacle bright world warlock rank existences at the same time, the water-moon boundary collapsed completely. Seriously injured, he turned into a ray of moonlight and fled into the distance without hesitation. The Great Elder of the water-moon heaven is well aware of the cruelty of the world of warlocks. Once he is seriously injured and stays here, he will not only become the prey of his enemies, but there is a great chance that he will become the prey of his own people. The space twisted, and a swarm of void assassins jumped out and attacked the 4 great elders of the heavenly ogres. The Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion spread the fingers of a hand, and a huge insect with the appearance of a dragon grabbed him and flew away. The void distorted, and more than 10,000 void assassins flew out and slashed at the huge ghost insect that looked like a dragon. Undyings and sealers were dragged out of the void by the void assassins and thrown onto the battlefield, and then pounced on the huge insect. The huge ghost dragon insect roared, opened its mouth, and spewed out a terrifying ghostly fire that swept towards the surrounding void assassins. Shields frantically surged out from the void assassin's body, but they collapsed one by one under the burning of the huge ghost dragon bug. More void assassins rushed to the side of the huge ghost dragon insect and brandished their blades, slashing open numerous wounds on the huge ghost dragon insect. The engines of more than 1,000 Undyings roared, and they pounced on the huge insect in the blink of an eye and slashed at it. After images flickered, and the huge insect was chopped into pieces. Sealing halos shot out from the sealers, hit the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, and sealed him inch by inch. Faced with the sudden appearance of countless void assassins, the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon twisted his body and fled into the distance, surrounded by nether aura. The eyes of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre's Great Elder were bloodshot. Corroded by the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre's blood, he fell into a state of madness. He charged into the midst of the void assassins and frantically smashed them to pieces. The Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode reacted a step too late, and a dozen plus Undyings slashed at him and chopped him into countless pieces. Although the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode was chopped into countless pieces, but not a drop of blood flowed out. Instead, he turned into a gust of wind and fled into the distance. The sealers fired sealing halos that slammed into the gust of wind. The gust of wind twisted and finally formed the form of the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode. Fear, helplessness, and regret flashed in the eyes of the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode, and he roared, "Don't kill me, I'm willing to surrender." If the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode was in his prime, he could easily escape from the sealers. But he poured most of his power into the elemental lock. He no longer has the power to escape from the sealers. A cold voice came from a sealer, "Don't resist. Those who resist will be killed." The highest elder of the Cool Breeze gang let out a long sigh and gave up resisting. He just let those sealing halos hit his body and forcibly sealed him. The sealers flew to in front of Alexia, hit her with sealing halos, and began to seal her. If the other Bright World Warlocks escape, then so be it. But the blazing angel Alexia with unlimited evolution potential is Yang Feng's ultimate prey. The birth of a blazing angel is extremely difficult, as it involves the ultimate mystery of the soul. It requires the purest soul plus countless precious soul stones as well as a bit of luck. Only then can one get a blazing angel. Among 10 billion ordinary angels, there may not be one blazing angel. Moreover, blazing angels only have the evolution potential. It is extremely difficult for them to advance to the Bright World Warlock rank. The Bright World Warlock rank blazing angel can even contend against some weak rogue Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses. Alexia is such a powerful blazing angel. She is a blazing angel with unlimited evolution potential that the Abyssal Fiend Grand Duke Poidal spent countless resources to cultivate. As if sensing the predicament of their commander, the fallen angels fighting with the Wave Cloud Mountain City's warlocks flapped their black wings and flew over. The third-generation battle robots pierced into the fallen angel army like a sharp knife, crazily slaughtering the beautiful and sexy fallen angels. The beautiful fallen angels resisted desperately, but they were still slaughtered in the face of the huge gap in strength, unable to get close to Alexia. All of a sudden, the remaining fallen angels flew together, and then exploded in an instant. A copious amount of blood and souls burned wildly, and a big hole was opened in the void. An abyssal aura spread out from the hole, and a black light flashed as it flew over. It condensed into a 1.8-meter tall, golden-haired, blue-eyed, handsome, and devilishly charming man wearing a black suit. I am the Fiend Grand Duke Poidal, the Lord of the 666th floor of the Abyss. Respected human warlock, please return my commander to me. If you are willing to return her to me, I can become your closest ally. Besides, I will also provide you with a succubus queen with the best looks and temperament. The eyes of the handsome man flickered with a queer rune, and he looked into the distance. With a glance, he penetrated the fog and saw Yang Feng sitting on the bridge of a Star Destroyer battlestar. The one who blew up in the Cloud Mist Hall was just a mere golem of Yang Feng's. The golem was created using cloning technology by cloning a part of Yang Feng's cells, a soul stone, and a wisp of Yang Feng's soul aura. Since the Bright World warlocks weren't on guard against Yang Feng, he was able to deceive them easily. Yang Feng's eyes lit up, and he contemplated for a while before saying with a faint smile, "Succubus Queen? That's a big move." "Unfortunately, Sir Grand Duke, I'm more interested in the Blazing Angel Alexia." "Sorry." Succubus queens are advanced life forms of succubi from the abyss. Every succubus queen is a powerful existence above the Moonlight Warlock rank. They were the most coveted treasures of all male beings. In the abyssal plane, the infernal plane, and the 36 primary material planes, they were the private pets of all male powerhouses. Their status was even higher than that of elves and angels. In the era of the 7th Warlock Dynasty Magic Note Dynasty, a Holy Spirit Warlock once offered a Grade 8 plane to the Abyss to purchase a succubus queen, but he wasn't able to buy one. Chapter 610. When Yang Feng heard about the succubus queen, he was only slightly tempted. The highest evolution potential of the succubus queen is the Bright World Warlock rank. Unless the succubus queen evolves into a succubus empress, she won't be able to break the bloodline shackles and evolve into an Infinity Warlock or Holy Spirit Warlock. In the long history of the Abyss, there are only 3 succubus empresses that the Zhangji plane is familiar with. One was slain by the Taboo Lord while fighting against the Taboo Lord. The other was made into the number 1 succubus golem by the Golem Lord while hunting the Golem Lord. The third is the succubus empress, who controls the 777th floor of the Abyss, is the master of the 777th floor. The 777th floor of the Abyss is a paradise that male powerhouses dream of. In the 777th floor of the Abyss, you can see succubus beauties that are rarely seen in the outside world. Moreover, there are 5 succubus queens serving the succubus empress. The succubus empress is known as the number 1 beauty in the Abyss. Many beauties known for their beauty are far less beautiful and charming than the succubus empress. The succubus empress is a pinnacle Infinity Warlock rank powerhouse. In the 777th floor of the Abyss, even if it is a Warlock Monarch rank powerhouse, they will be easily suppressed by her. The succubus empress is very rare. But for Yang Feng, the Blazing Angel Alexia, who can contend against some of the weakest Infinity Warlocks, is far more valuable than the succubus empress. There was a flash of regret in the eyes of the Fiend Grand Duke Poidal, and he uttered in a gentlemanly manner, "It's a pity that you chose to be my enemy. I have remembered your soul aura. Next time we meet, I hope we can have a good talk." With a flicker of black light, Fiend Grand Duke Poidal's body collapsed and turned into a black light that shot towards Alexia like a bolt of lightning. Seal halos shot out and slammed into the black ray. Under the suppression of the seal halos, the black ray formed a wriggling black liquid engraved with countless runes in midair. Bolts of lightning shot out from the lightning manipulators and bombarded the black liquid. Under the bombardment of lightning that resembled dancing silver snakes, the black liquid was directly purified, turning into countless black remains that fell from the sky and scattered on the ground. The huge cave that the fallen angels had opened by sacrificing their lives and souls also disappeared instantly. Unless it is a complete planar passageway, even if it is opened by a warlock emperor rank powerhouse, it won't last long. Although the fiend Grand Duke Poidal is a pinnacle infinity warlock rank existence, but he can only use part of his power to survive in this plane for a short period of time. An Undying grabbed the blazing angel Alexia and flew into a warship, where she was frozen at ultra-low temperatures. At the same time, various seals were applied to her, and she was sealed in a freezing seal chamber. Yang Feng looked at the frozen seal chamber with excitement in his eyes. The biggest harvest this time is the blazing angel Alexia. I wonder how powerful he would be if he were to wear the evolved Paragon armament. The Paragon armament that Yang Feng developed has been embedded with an infinity core. At the same time, he used various rare materials to strengthen it again. At this time, Yang Feng's true body can no longer fully exert the Paragon armament's fighting strength. He can only use the Paragon armament's power step by step. However, Alexia is a blazing angel who can contend against infinity warlocks. As long as he controls her, coupled with the power of the Paragon armament, Yang Feng will have a powerhouse who can contend against infinity warlocks under his command. The Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre frantically attacked Yang Feng's mechanical legion. After destroying 500,000 modified second-generation battle robots, the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre turned into ashes and disappeared, leaving only a bright world core behind. The second stage of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre is a secret method that human warlocks can't often use. If you are careless, you will be eroded by the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre's evil blood, turn into a battle maniac, and eventually exhaust your lifespan and die. I am Lei Ming, the young master of the Undying Mountain. People in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, listen up. Give up resistance and surrender at once, or you will be killed. 200,000 Swift Eagle fighters flew out from the two steel carriers and chased after the warlocks who tried to escape. A rain of light shot out from the Swift Eagle fighters, slammed into the warlocks below like raindrops, and killed the warlocks who tried to escape one by one. 2 million modified second-generation battle robots, dressed in military uniforms, formed a huge warlock legion advancing towards this side and exterminating all warlocks in their path. So strong, is this the strength of the Undying Mountain? It's too scary. The Undying Mountain is really amazing. What do we do? The great elders of the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres are gone, and so are their upper echelons. What else can we do? Surrender. Even the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres were defeated by the Undying Mountain. How can we be their opponents? Surrender. When the warlock groups saw the sky-blotting mechanical legion approaching, they felt a chill in their hearts, hesitated for a while, and then surrendered. In fact, if the warlocks in the Wave Cloud Mountain City joined forces and fought Yang Feng's mechanical legion, they would have a 70% chance of destroying it. After all, nearly half of the Ligui province's warlock elites are gathered in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. However, the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres, the 14 tycoons of the Ligui province, have already escaped without a trace. The might of the 30-star destroyer battlestars made the human warlocks shudder. Without a leader, they chose to surrender to Yang Feng. When the human warlocks saw such a huge warlock legion, they secretly guessed that the Undying Mountain has mobilized several bright world warlocks. They didn't expect that among the hundreds of thousands of Starry Sky warlocks and more than 2 million great warlocks, there isn't a single Moonlight warlock, Glorious Sun warlock, or Bright World warlock. When Yang Feng attacked the Fuso subcontinent, he subdued a lot of Moonlight warlocks. But now that he is the young master of the Undying Mountain, it is impossible for him to mobilize the Fuso subcontinent's Moonlight warlocks. In the Fuso subcontinent, if it wasn't for the protection of the Fuso Divine Tree and the Great Cloud Dynasty's apprehensive Huang Yihe and other infinity warlocks hiding in the dark, the Great Cloud Dynasty would have already sent troops to uproot Yang Feng's force in the Fuso subcontinent. Countless battle robots entered the Wave Cloud Mountain City, quickly suppressed the rebellion, and took over the matter of the surrender of the warlock groups. After the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, the situation in the Ligui province underwent earth-shaking changes. Nearly half of the warlock groups in the Ligui province directly surrendered to Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. Taking this opportunity, Yang Feng's Undying Mountain's force expanded wildly towards the Yi family and the Zhao family of the Five Heavenly Lords, and the Seven-Star Abode, Thunder Demon Sect, Ogre Insect Pavilion, Secret Treasure City, Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, Purgatory Ogre, and the Cool Breeze Abode. Awed by Yang Feng's means, the remaining 3 Heavenly Lords and 2 Heavenly Ogres sent spies to probe the real situation of Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. At the same time, they sent envoys in private to communicate with each other. Great Cloud Dynasty, an ordinary lesser province, Ning Province, in a manner, in a giant laboratory 3,000 meters underground. Standing in front of a crystal coffin, Yang Feng quietly looked at the beautiful blazing angel Alexia inside the crystal coffin with a scorching light in his eyes. Begin liquid metal nano robot elixir injection. A mechanical voice sounded, and needles pierced into Alexia and injected her with the liquid metal nano robot elixir that has been improved and researched. The injection failed. All liquid metal nano robots will die. A cold voice sounded. Yang Feng sighed regretfully, the liquid metal nano robot elixir really doesn't work. Although it has been improved, it can only control Glorious Dawn Warlock rank life forms at most. Yang Feng asked, how is the cloning deduction analysis model going? The cloning deduction analysis model has been established and analyzed. According to the deduction, the cells of this life form can be used to clone a second-generation life form, which has 99% similarity in appearance with the original body. However, the mature life form only has great warlock rank strength at most. This life form is not a natural product, but a weapon of the gods. Its main material is a holy soul. While part of the body can be cloned, but the soul cannot be cloned. The cold voice sounded again. If he could use cloning technology to clone a large number of Bright World Warlock rank powerhouses, Yang Feng wouldn't mind cloning a bunch of blazing angels to fight for him. Unfortunately, cloning technology isn't omnipotent. It is impossible to clone a soul weapon like the blazing angel. The birth and growth of every blazing angel cannot be replicated. It is because of this that blazing angels are so precious. Yang Feng asked, have you found the mark engraved on the soul of the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poidal? At the moment of the birth of every angel, their master, god, abyssal fiend, or human warlock will engrave a soul mark on their soul. In this way, the angel will not be able to betray their master, and will become a loyal weapon. However, the soul mark of an angel is not indestructible. The abyssal lord of the 999th floor, known as the strongest fallen angel, Lucifer, who possesses Holy Spirit warlock rank power, is a blazing angel who betrayed a supreme god legion. Chapter 611. The fallen angel Lucifer was once the first blazing angel subordinated to a supreme god. He commanded a powerful angel legion, spread the glory of the supreme god, and fought on countless planes. In a battle, an abyssal fiend from the abyss shattered the supreme god's curse in the soul of the fallen angel Lucifer. Several archdevils plotted to have Lucifer degenerate into a fallen angel, and then led a huge angel legion to the 999th floor of the abyss and became the master of the 999th floor. The fallen angel Lucifer once left the abyss and went to the Tsangji Plain, where he competed with the 8th Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord, over the position of Warlock Emperor. In the end, he was seriously injured by the Dawn Lord, and was driven back to the 999th floor. In the endless abyss, the whereabouts of this terrifying existence are rarely heard. I have found the soul imprint he set up. A holographic projection appeared in front of Yang Feng, and a weird, distorted, mysterious brand appeared in front of Yang Feng. Even if it was a great warlock rank powerhouse, as long as they saw the weird, distorted brand, they would have a nervous breakdown and become a madman. This soul imprint would have been a bit tricky before. However, to me right now, this soul curse mark is nothing. Yang Feng smiled and spread the fingers of a hand, and a large swarm of devourers flew out of his hand and pounced on Alexia. The bodies of the devourers engraved with strange runes blurred. They opened their mouths and bit out a strange and distorted rune from Alexia's soul, then swallowed it. After the devourers devoured the weird brand, their bodies twisted, and they finally broke down and digested the brand and turned it into energy crystals. In the center of the 666th floor of the abyss, there is a magnificent palace that covers an area of tens of thousands of hectares. Beautiful fallen angels, sexy and charming succubi, as well as some beautiful fiends unique to the endless abyss can be seen everywhere. In a garden deep in the palace, there are all kinds of rare flowers everywhere. Many flowers are hard to come by in the outside world. At the same time, many flowers cannot survive in the environment of the abyss. However, there is a powerful magic barrier in the garden, and in the center of the garden lies a beautiful goddess of flowers. Strange runes were engraved on the flower goddess, turning her into the nourishment and pillar of the entire garden, creating such an incredible and beautiful garden. In the garden, there sits a handsome middle-aged man with blonde hair and blue eyes with a wicked temperament. This man is the master of the 666th floor of the abyss, the fiend Grand Duke Poitel. At the same time that the brand in Alexia's soul was dispelled, the face of the fiend Grand Duke Poitel changed dramatically, and his eyes twisted. Countless brands converged in his eyes, and an astonishing twisting force diffused from him. More than a dozen beautiful succubi with plump buttocks and huge breasts suddenly twisted and exploded. Countless fragments splashed in all directions, dyeing the incomparably beautiful garden with a layer of bloody smell. The beauties who were playing in the garden immediately trembled and knelt on the ground. Their bodies trembled and their faces were filled with fear. The fiend Grand Duke Poitel doesn't get angry easily. Usually, he is like the most erudite and elegant middle-aged man, making people fall for him at first sight. But he is, after all, a cruel abyssal fiend. Once he gets angry, he finds it hard to control his emotions. At the height of his anger, he once killed a blazing angel that he fancied the most. Terrifying abyssal chi spread out of the fiend Grand Duke Poitel and enveloped the entire garden. Under the corrosion of the terrifying abyssal chi, countless beautiful flowers turned into piles of withered dust. One beautiful but weak woman after another was corroded by the abyssal devil energy. They struggled in pain and either became devils or were corroded by the abyssal devil energy and turned into incomparably ugly monsters. They screamed miserably as they died. The violent demonic chi wreaked havoc for an entire hour before Poitel barely regained his calm, and his eyes filled with endless killing intent. Poitel is the abyssal lord of the 666th floor of the abyss. No one knows his origin. They only know that he suddenly became the abyssal lord of the 666th floor of the abyss, participated in the siege of the 7th Warlock Dynasty Magic Note Dynasty, and slayed a warlock monarch. Even counting from the 7th Warlock Dynasty Magic Note Dynasty, Poitel's lifespan has reached hundreds of thousands of years. During these hundreds of thousands of years, Poitel used various means to obtain a total of hundreds of blazing angels. On average, he obtained one blazing angel every 1,000 years. But over the years, only 10 blazing angels have evolved to the Bright World Warlock rank or above after countless battles and nurturing. Alexia isn't the strongest blazing angel subordinated to Poitel. But her evolutionary potential ranks in the top 3 among Poitel's subordinates. In the 666th floor of the abyss, with the blessing of abyssal origin force, Alexia can even contend against an infinity warlock. For such a powerful blazing angel with terrifying evolutionary potential to be taken away by Yang Feng naturally enraged Poitel. Undying Mountain. A remnant of the 5th Warlock Dynasty? It seems that they have concealed themselves very deeply. To think that they made so many powerful secret treasures. Poitel's eyes shimmered fiercely and overflowed with killing intent, and he enunciated each syllable. However, since you dare to attack my blazing angel, even if the Undying Mountain has the chance, I will turn you all into dead men. In the laboratory, Yang Feng used devourers to dispel the soul brand Poitel set up in Alexia's soul, then silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger, and the true God Empyrean imprint suddenly flew out. Soul brands containing Yang Feng's soul force flew out of the true God Empyrean imprint and coiled around Alexia's soul. Alexia's powerful soul moved and instinctively resisted the invasion of the other souls. If Alexia hadn't been sealed by the sealing halos operated by countless sealers and fallen into a deep sleep, her soul would have been able to collapse Yang Feng's true God Empyrean imprint with a shake of her soul. Alexia's soul moved, and the soul brand containing Yang Feng's soul force was on the verge of collapse. Yang Feng gritted his teeth, took out a high-grade soul stone, and tapped it with his hand. The high-grade soul stone shattered, and formidable soul force diffused from the soul stone and poured into Yang Feng's soul brand. Yang Feng's soul brand radiated soul light, pierced into Alexia's soul, and formed a strange brand that entangled Alexia's soul. Yang Feng felt that a close connection was born between him and Alexia. The life and death of the beautiful bright world warlock ranked powerhouse Alexia is in his hands. Yang Feng ordered, "Unfreeze." The pipeline that sprayed freezing gas inside the freezer suddenly contracted, the door of the freezer opened, and the sealers who were enchanted with various seals flew away. Alexia's heart beat rapidly, her pretty face flushed, and a powerful aura slowly rose from her delicate body. After 3 breaths of time, Alexia opened her eyes, and Junior Bright World Warlock rank aura diffused from her. Alexia opened her eyes, and her beautiful eyes filled with endless mystery stared at Yang Feng. Yang Feng's scalp turned numb. He can clearly feel the killing intent released from the soul of the beautiful blazing angel in front of him from time to time through the soul brand. However, Alexia has also clearly perceived the connection between her and Yang Feng. Once she attacks Yang Feng, the rune engraved in her soul will kill her at the moment she attacks. The killing intent in Alexia's eyes converged, and she jumped out of the freezer and said coldly, "Greetings, my lord, I am Alexia." The soul brand engraved in the depths of Alexia's soul can easily kill her, but it can't make her truly submit to Yang Feng. Yang Feng looked at the beautiful and powerful Alexia with a scorching shade in his eyes and said, "My name is Yang Feng, a true disciple of the Battle Demon sect, a man who will become a warlock emperor in the future. Alexia, from today onwards, you are my subordinate." Alexia's beautiful eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and she uttered faintly, "Yes. My lord." Warlock emperors are virtually invincible existences who suppress the 36 primary material planes. The Tsangji Plane's 8 warlock emperors have suppressed countless planes with their might. Alexia has heard of the legendary deeds of the Tsangji Plane's 8 warlock emperors. If Yang Feng can really become a warlock emperor, then Alexia doesn't mind contributing her power to him. With a wave of Yang Feng's hand, a storage ring flew into Alexia's hand. Alexia swept the storage ring with her gaze, revealed a look of satisfaction, and put the storage ring on her hand. There were 10 million low-level magical crystals in the storage ring. With those low-level magical crystals, he would be able to recover his strength quickly. Bright World Warlock rank blazing angels can absorb life magic energy and negative energy drifting in the world to restore their strength and heal their injuries. But the speed of recovery using magic crystals is more than 3 times faster than ordinary absorption of energy. Alexia naturally likes to use magic crystals to restore her strength. Chapter 6:12. A tractor beam enveloped Yang Feng and Alexia. With a flash of light, the two disappeared from the laboratory and appeared in another laboratory. In that laboratory, there is also a freezer cabin. In the freezer, there is the body of the great elder Yi Chen of the 5 heavenly lords Yi family. A copious amount of cold air sprayed on Yi Chen's body. At the same time, countless sealers sprayed seal light and sealed Yi Chen. Unfreeze. At Yang Feng's order, the unfreezing procedure was started. Half an hour later, the extremely weak Yi Chen finally opened his eyes in the cryogenic chamber. When Yi Chen saw Yang Feng, an enigmatic ray streaked past his eyes, and he uttered with a bitter smile, "Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming, in other words, the Undying Mountain captured me?" Yang Feng's fictitious Undying Mountain is regarded as an invisible enemy by the Yi family. Therefore, under Yu Inhui's clear framing, Yi Chen remained silent. he tried to expel the Undying Mountain's forces from the Ligui province. Yi Chen never expected that he would become Yang Feng's prisoner. Before the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, Yi Chen didn't take Yang Feng seriously. In his mind, only the mysterious Bright World warlocks of the Undying Mountain are worthy of his attention. But now, he can only look up to Yang Feng. His mood is naturally very complicated. Yi Chen, do you want to live or die? If you want to die, I'll have Alexia kill you now. If you want to live, put your soul into my true God Empyrean imprint. Yang Feng flicked his finger, and a true God Empyrean imprint floated in the air and released formidable transcendent might. Alexia! Yi Chen was taken aback. His gaze fell on Alexia standing next to Yang Feng, and his eyes filled with apprehension. He even subdued the blazing angel. As soon as Alexia appeared, she killed the Purgatory Ogre's great elder with a sword strike. Yi Chen is well aware of how powerful she is. In a one-on-one fight, without using any life-saving secret treasures, Yi Chen will be killed within 3 sword strikes. For such a powerful fallen blazing angel to become Yang Feng's subordinate, it filled Yi Chen with shock. Yang Feng looked at the hesitant and struggling Yi Chen and said lightly, I captured the Great Elders of the Cool Breeze Abode and the Great Elders of the Ogre Insect Pavilion. If you don't surrender, then die. Anyway, it was enough to have them. However, if you don't surrender to me, there's no need for your Yi clan to exist. Yi Chen's heart suddenly turned cold. My Yi clan already has a death grudge with the Clear Wind Pavilion and the Ghostly Insect Pavilion. If I don't surrender, even if Lei Ming doesn't make a move, the Cool Breeze Gang and the Ghostly Insect Pavilion will definitely not let my Yi family off. The 5 heavenly kings colluded with the abyssal fiend Grand Duke Poital of the 666th layer of the Endless Abyss and wanted to unify the entire Ligui province. However, they underestimated the strength of the 9 great heavenly ogres and let Yang Feng reap the benefits. The forces of the 5 heavenly kings and the 9 great heavenly ogres have become mortal enemies. If the Cool Breeze Gang and the Ghostly Insect Pavilion join Yang Feng's side, the Yi family will definitely die an unsightly death. Yi Chen made a choice and said decisively, Young master, if you are willing to promise to protect my Yi family, then I, Yi Chen, am willing to offer my soul to you. At the same time, my Yi family is willing to submit to the Undying Mountain and become a member of the Undying Mountain. Yang Feng uttered, okay. As long as the Yi family doesn't touch my interests or go against my orders, I can promise to protect your Yi family. I can promise to protect the Yi family, and we can sign the Styx Oath. After Yi Chen signed a Styx Oath with Yang Feng, he put his soul into the true God Empyrean imprint and let Yang Feng engrave a powerful rune on his soul. A tractor beam descended from the laboratory, enveloped Yang Feng's group of 3, and instantly teleported them to another large laboratory. In a freezer compartment of the large laboratory, there is a small ball, which is the sealed Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion. Unfreeze. 2 hours after the unfreezing process passed, there is still no movement from the small ball, as if the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion is already dead. Yang Feng uttered flatly, Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, if you die, I'll have Alexia slash you with her sword and extinguish your soul. The small ball wriggled for a while, then quickly extended and changed, crazily absorbing the magic energy around it. It looked like countless small worms were crawling and twisting. Finally, it took the form of the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion. The Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion glanced around with a strange look in his eyes. Young Master Lei Ming of the Undying Mountain, I didn't expect that we would fall into your hands. Alexia suddenly took a step forward and slashed at an empty space with her sword, and a bee-sized invisible ogre insect was slain. Yang Feng's eyes flashed fiercely, and he barked, How dare you assassinate me? Kill him, Alexia! Extinguish his soul! The face of the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion changed dramatically, and he pleaded bitterly, No. Lei Ming, I'm just testing you a little. Don't kill me, I'm willing to surrender. I can lead the entire Ogre Insect Pavilion to submit to you. A cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng said nothing. Alexia swung her sword and a tyrannical dark force enveloped her fallen angel sword and slashed at the bright world core of the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, shattering the soul of the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion and erasing all traces of his life. Wisps of black soul aura flew out of the broken soul of the Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion and entered Alexia's fallen angel sword. Seeing this scene, Yichen felt a lingering fear in his heart. The Great Elder of the Ogre Insect Pavilion, who is also a pinnacle bright world warlock like him, died tragically to Alexia's sword. If he hadn't surrendered to Yang Feng just now, he would have been the one killed. After Yang Feng subdued Alexia, the mechanical legion he manufactured in the Andrak plain in the past 3 years flowed into the Ligui province. The huge mechanical legion occupied various strategic locations in the Ligui province. Additionally, 3 mechanical legions numbering more than 1 million headed straight for the Yi family of the 5 heavenly lords. Faced with the overwhelming mechanical legion, the Yi family's warlocks retreated in defeat. At the same time, they transferred their warlocks back to the Yi Dragon Mountain. At the same time, the Yi family sent letters requesting for help to the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups. After the Battle of the Wave Cloud Mountain City, Yangfeng's Undying Mountain turned more than half of the warlock groups in the Ligui province into his wings. Only the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres, these 14 behemoths, remained standing. Although many of the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres have lost their bright world warlocks, but they still have glorious sun warlocks and moonlight warlocks guarding them. They are still the most powerful force in the Ligui province. After the Battle of the Wave Cloud Mountain City, the Undying Mountain under Yang Feng's command has revealed its sharp fangs and frantically expanded its influence. Now that Yang Feng's Undying Mountain has far surpassed any of the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres, the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres are filled with unease. At the invitation of the Yi family, the 5 heavenly lords and 9 heavenly ogres quickly mobilized countless powerhouses and gathered towards the Yi family, ready to join forces to resist the Undying Mountain's offensive. Yi Cloud City, in the back garden of a beautiful villa, the great elders of the 5 heavenly lords of the Ligui province are sitting. Chen Lei asked, "Brother Yi, are the 2 old fogies of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and Water Moon Heaven not willing to come?" Chen Lei has already dispelled the nether breath from the sneak attack of the great elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon, and now he has recovered his full strength. When the great elders of the 5 heavenly lords saw that the situation was far from good, they immediately fled. Only Yi Chen hasn't fully recovered from his serious injuries, while the other 3 great elders have recovered their full strength. Yi Chen smiled bitterly, "The 2 old fogies don't trust us. Their encampment is 300 kilometers away from us. If anything happens, let's send an avatar to the Ping Fong city." Song Jin sighed faintly, "I didn't expect our painstaking plan to end up benefiting the Undying Mountain. How hateful." Zhang Hongtao smiled bitterly, "It's a pity that we fell short of success. If it wasn't for the fact that the abyssal fiend Duke Poital didn't send someone over as agreed, we would have already dealt with the 9 heavenly ogres." After the portal opened, according to the agreement between the 5 heavenly lords and the abyssal fiend Duke Poital, a blazing angel should be sent to fight immediately. But the abyssal fiend Duke Poital watched the battle for a while. After the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres suffered heavy losses, he sent Alexia. If Alexia had come earlier, then with her terrifying strength, she could have joined forces with the 5 heavenly lords to defeat the 9 heavenly ogres. Of course, the abyssal fiend Duke Poital didn't expect that the great elder of the Cool Breeze abode would possess a heaven-defying level 9 secret treasure like the elemental lock, forcibly sealing Alexia, and then allowing Yang Feng to pick up a bargain. If it wasn't for the level 9 secret treasure, Alexia could have defeated or even killed the remaining great elders of the 9 heavenly ogres one by one, even at the cost of serious injuries. Yi Chen said with a solemn expression, "Everyone, I have something important to tell you." The eyes of the 3 heavenly lord-rank great elders congealed, and their gazes focused on Yi Chen. "What is it?" Yi Chen sighed slightly, "My Yi family and I have already taken refuge with the Undying Mountain. Therefore, I'm sorry, but for the sake of the Yi family, I can only ask you to die." A pitch-black sword ray containing the terrifying power of darkness slashed down from Song Jin's back, instantly tearing apart Song Jin's life force field. At the same time, Song Jin was forcibly cut in two and his head was sent flying. Alexia stretched out her hand and grabbed Song Jin's head.
Countless pitch-black power surged out from her jade-like hand and entered Song Jin's head, completely sealing his power.
Chapter 6:13. The Great Elder of the Breeze Pavilion walked out, looked resentfully at the two bright world warlocks Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao, and said with a cold smile, "Brother Chen, Brother Zhan, I have already set up a barrier here. You two can't escape even if you want to. Why don't you surrender to the young master like me?" With a thought, Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao's immense soul force gushed out like a tidal wave. An incomparably powerful elemental barrier had already appeared outside the manor, enveloping the entire manor. With Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao working together, it would only take them 2 spells to destroy the powerful elemental barrier. However, the time it takes for the 2 spells to be cast is enough for Alexia, the Great Elder of the Breeze Pavilion, and Yi Chen to kill Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao several times over. Among Alexia, the Great Elder of the Breeze Pavilion, and Yi Chen has yet to recover from his injuries. He only has Junior Bright World Warlock rank strength. However, the other 2 have already recovered their full strength. Alexia alone has the strength to slay Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao. Zhan Hongtao smiled bitterly and said decisively, "Young Master, is it Undying Mountain's young Master Lei Ming? I, Zhan Hongtao, am willing to surrender. I am willing to make a Styx oath to be loyal to you, young master." In the garden, Yang Feng's voice sounded, "A Styx oath isn't enough. I want to engrave a curse on your soul." Although a Styx oath is of a high level, but there are still treasures and methods to lift it silently. However, once a curse is engraved on the soul, then even if the curse is forcibly lifted, Yang Feng will know in advance, so that he won't be stabbed in the back. Alexia pointed at Zhan Hongtao with the fallen angel's sword in her hand, and her beautiful eyes filled with killing intent. Angels are weapons made by gods from the souls of believers, and they are engraved with a belligerent instinct. As a fallen angel born in the endless abyss, Alexia has rich combat experience and is extremely belligerent. Although Alexia wasn't convinced by Yang Feng, this master who was weaker than her, but her instinct as a fallen angel made her choose to obey the orders of her new master. Yang Feng's cold voice came again, "If you two don't intend to surrender to me, then there is no need for the Zhan family and the Chen family to exist. I think that there will be many warlock groups that want to replace your Zhan family and Chen family." Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei felt a chill in their hearts. In the Ligui province, the 5 heavenly kings and the 9 heavenly ghosts controlled an enormous amount of resources. Since they occupied the majority of the resources, the remaining warlock groups were naturally very envious of them. When the forces of the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres are strong, but once they weaken, they will be torn to pieces by the warlock groups eyeing them covetously. The Undying Mountain won't care about the destruction of the Zhan family and the Chen family. For the Undying Mountain, the destruction of the Zhan family and the Chen family will allow the Undying Mountain to get more resources and cultivate more loyal and devoted warlocks. If the Zhan family and the Chen family don't surrender to the Undying Mountain, then the Undying Mountain will only weaken in the next 100 to 200 years. But after that, the Undying Mountain will only become stronger and stronger. When Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei thought of this, they shuddered inside. They understood that with the support of Yi Chen, the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode, and Alexia, coupled with the underlying strength of the Undying Mountain, the 2 bright world warlocks like them are no longer targets that the Undying Mountain must recruit. Chen Lei glanced at Alexia, smiled bitterly, and sighed helplessly, "I am willing to surrender and hand over my soul to the young master." With Alexia, a blazing angel who can slay quasi-infinity warlocks and has experienced countless battles, even if Chen Lei and Zhan Hongtao join forces, they have no chance of winning. Zhan Hongtao uttered, "I am also willing to hand over my soul to the young master. However, young master, please take a Styx oath and give the Zhan family enough status and dignity. In this way, the the Zhan family can fully serve the young master. Yang Feng promised decisively, okay. If the Chen family and the Zhan family, the two heavenly monarch rank forces of the Ligui province, serve Yang Feng wholeheartedly, then he will have two terrifying warlock groups under his command. With the help of the two families, it will be easier for Yang Feng to control the Ligui province. In the eyes of the Great Cloud dynasty, the Ligui province is a big piece of meat. After all, the Ligui province is much larger than many of the 36 greater provinces of the Great Cloud dynasty. Moreover, the Ligui province is very rich in resources, not inferior to other greater provinces. The only shortcoming of the Ligui province is that infinity warlocks cannot survive here. Warlocks who have reached the quasi-infinity warlock rank will leave the Ligui province, hide their true identity, and travel to the Great Cloud dynasty in search of opportunities. However, this shortcoming is nothing to Yang Feng. Although he is a moonlight warlock who has stepped into the transcendent realm and is no longer an ordinary person. But there is still a long way to go before he can reach the infinity warlock rank. The Ligui province is very important to Yang Feng. If he manages it well, it can become his base and provide him with a steady stream of cultivation resources. The resources here are comparable to those of a great province, enough to support Yang Feng to easily practice cultivation until the quasi-bright world warlock rank. Put your souls in. The void twisted, and a true god Empyrean imprint flew out and floated in front of Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei. As for Yang Feng's true body, he didn't show up. Seeing Yang Feng being so cautious, the last bit of hope hidden in Zhan Hongtao's heart disappeared. He smiled bitterly and let the true god Empyrean imprint print on his forehead. Countless runes extended from the true god Empyrean imprint and entangled Zhan Hongtao's soul. Zhan Hongtao let go of his soul and let the true god Empyrean imprint erode it. Otherwise, his powerful soul could easily shatter the runes released by the true god Empyrean imprint. After the true god Empyrean imprint completely eroded Zhan Hongtao, it flew to in front of Chen Lei, eroded Chen Lei's soul, and absorbed it into the true god Empyrean imprint, making the true god Empyrean imprint more powerful. After subduing the two bright world warlocks, Yang Feng walked out of the void and appeared in front of Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei. Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei looked at Yang Feng with a complicated look in their eyes. In the eyes of ordinary people, moonlight warlocks are already powerful existences comparable to transcendent beings. But in the eyes of pinnacle bright world warlock rank powerhouses like Zhan Hongtao and Chen Lei, they are just a junior who has just set foot on the eternal path. They didn't care about Yang Feng at all. But now Yang Feng, who they didn't care about, has become an existence who controls their fate. This naturally filled them with complicated feelings. It's my honor that the two of you decided to renounce darkness for light and join me. Yang Feng smiled, silently recited an incantation, pointed with a finger, and magic light shone. A projection of Styx suddenly appeared, and he said solemnly, I, Yang Feng, swear by Styx once again that as long as the Chen family and the Zhan family don't violate my orders, don't violate the laws I set up, and serve me to the fullest. If I violate this oath, let my soul fall into Styx, never to return to eternity. Styx oaths must be true. No matter how many pseudonyms you must use your true name when signing a Styx oath. The true name isn't the unique true name that fiends, archdevils, gods, and other powerful existences possess. That true name was not the unique true name that powerful beings such as demons, ancient devils, and gods possessed. It was not a true name that possessed godly power. No matter how many pseudonyms you use, the only name that Yang Feng recognizes is Yang Feng. When he makes a Styx oath, he can only use his true name to swear. When he makes a Styx oath, he can only use his true name to swear. A storm was set off in Zhan Hongtao's heart, yet his face was expressionless. Yang Feng? Is it that Yang Feng who defeated all the peerless geniuses of the Western world in the Time Sky City? Isn't he a disciple of the Battle Demon sect? How did he become the young master of the Undying Mountain? A storm surged in Chen Lei's heart. Yang Feng, is he the most outstanding true disciple of the Battle Demon sect of this generation? Is he the young master of the Undying Mountain, or a true disciple of the Battle Demon sect? Or does he have two identities? Yang Feng asked, everyone, is there any way to get the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven to come over? The Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven are pinnacle Bright World Warlock rank existences. Although the two of them suffered injuries in the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, but they are still Bright World Warlock rank powerhouses. With Yang Feng's current lineup, defeating them is easy, but killing them is a bit difficult. Zhan Hongtao said, after the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven suffered a big loss in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, they are now holed up in their warlock legions. They will only send an avatar to discuss matters with us. It will be very difficult to ambush and kill them again. Chen Lei nodded and glanced at Yi Chen, and resentment streaked past his eyes. In the Ligui province, the relationship between the 5 heavenly lords is very close in private, which is why they can contend against the 9 heavenly ogres. Pinnacle Bright World Warlock rank existences are elusive. If they aren't staying in their safest lair, then they are traveling in search of opportunities. It is very difficult to ambush a pinnacle Bright World Warlock rank existence. If it wasn't for Yi Chen's invitation, Zhan Hongtao and the other two wouldn't have gathered here, and then been ambushed by Yang Feng and forced to sign an agreement. Alexia's eyes shimmered with scorching fighting spirit, let's attack. In any case, we are far stronger than them. Even if we attack, we are sure to wipe them out. Chapter 614. The Ping Feng City is the base of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and Water Moon Heaven. The Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and Water Moon Heaven are mortal enemies. The two warlock groups have fought who knows how many times in private, and even Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses have died. But since the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, the two warlock groups have become close, because they are well aware that Yang Feng's Undying Mountain has gained the greatest benefits in the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. The 5 heavenly lords have lost the most bright world warlocks. If they don't join forces, they might be defeated and devoured one by one. The world of warlocks is very cruel. In order to compete for limited cultivation resources, the wars between warlocks have never stopped. The collapse of the 8 human warlock dynasties was also due to the fall of the invincible warlock emperors. In order to compete for cultivation resources, countless almighty experts broke out in wars. In the end, foreign enemies invaded and destroyed the warlock dynasties. In the Wave Cloud Mountain City, the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres tacitly allowed other warlocks to frame Yang Feng, because they didn't want the Undying Mountain to enter the Ligui province. Now that Yang Feng has enough power, he naturally wants to flatten all the forces that refuse to obey him in the Ligui province and grasp all the resources. The contradiction between the two sides is almost irreconcilable. At this time, in the Ping Feng City, there are one giant warship after another anchored with warlock towers inlaid on the warships. In order to contend against Yang Feng's Undying Mountain, the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon brought out the 10 Nethermoon Ogre boats. The Nethermoon Ogre boat is a treasure the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon Warlock group forged using the corpse of an Infinity Warlock rank Netherworld Ogre Dragon. They spent a huge sum of money and invited more than a dozen Grandmaster alchemists to spend 1,000 years and countless precious materials. If a Nethermoon Ogre boat has 1 Glorious Sun Warlock, 10 Moonlight Warlocks, 200 Starry Sky Warlocks, and 10,000 Great Warlocks, it can contend against an ordinary Bright World Warlock. If there are enough powerful warlocks, then the 10 Nethermoon Ogre boats can form a Netherworld Ogre Dragon that can contend against a junior Infinity Warlock. The position of the Nethermoon Ogre boat in the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon was similar to the position of the level 9 Secret Treasure Elemental Lock in the Cool Breeze Gang. Both were hidden treasures that wouldn't be used easily. Although the Nethermoon Ogre Dragons don't have enough Glorious Sun Warlocks and Moonlight Warlocks to form a Netherworld Ogre Dragon that can contend against Infinity Warlocks. However, the 10 Nethermoon Ogre boats can still defeat a pinnacle Bright World Warlock. There was a 300-meter-tall hill near Ping Feng City. The hill was inscribed with countless mysterious runes, and the entire hill was emitting rays of moonlight that were filled with a sacred aura. The hill was called the Holy Moon Mountain. An Infinity Warlock born in the Water Moon Heaven once went to a Grade 7 plane and plucked a moon from the plane. He spent countless power, countless resources, 8,000 years, and countless water moon heaven warlocks to forge this secret treasure. It was one of the foundations of the water moon heaven, and it was placed in the water moon heaven's headquarters all year round. The Holy Moon Mountain required 4 bright world warlocks, 15 glorious sun warlocks, 136 moonlight warlocks, 2,000 starry sky warlocks, and 300,000 great warlocks to fully exert its power. Once the Holy Moon Mountain was fully exerted, it could even seriously injure or even suppress junior infinity warlocks. However, that was only in theory. How could it be so easy to gather 4 bright world warlocks? Besides, it wasn't easy to produce glorious sun warlocks and moonlight warlocks. The Water Moon Heaven, a warlock group of the 9 heavenly ogres, only had 1 bright world warlock, 4 glorious sun warlocks, and 15 moonlight warlocks. Once you stepped into the moonlight realm, you would be a transcendent. Powerhouses above the moonlight warlock rank were the pillars of any force. Every time the 10 great sects gave birth to a moonlight warlock, they would hold a moonlight ceremony because it was very difficult to produce moonlight warlocks. Only the Great Cloud Dynasty, an overlord of the Eastern world, could casually dispatch hundreds of moonlight warlocks to attack other planes. Although the Holy Moon Mountain couldn't gather enough manpower to suppress infinity warlocks, but with the Water Moon Heaven's Great Elder presiding over it, it wouldn't be a problem to suppress a quasi-infinity warlock-ranked powerhouse. In the sky 500 kilometers away from the Ping Fong city, the space suddenly blurred, and Star Destroyer battlestars suddenly appeared in the sky. With flashes of light, resplendent Star Destroyer artilleries, guided by the Level 3 optical computer, accurately slammed into the 10 Netherman Ogre boats and the Holy Moon Mountain. Under the bombardment of the Star Destroyer cannon's light beam, wisps of netherworld aura gushed out of the Netherman ghost ship and formed a strange shield. When the Star Destroyer artilleries slammed into the magic shields that the Netherman Ogre boats activated in a hurry pierced through, and then slammed into the Netherman Ogre boats. Under the bombardment of the Star Destroyer artilleries, the Netherman Ogre boats collapsed inch by inch, and the warlocks aboard the Netherman Ogre boats suffered heavy casualties. If the Netherman Ogre boats had activated all kinds of magic shields, they would have been able to block the Star Destroyer artilleries. However, due to Yang Feng's sneak attack, the Netherman Ogre boats was blasted into pieces. The one who strikes first gains the advantage. This was a common rule in war. Under the bombardment of the Star Destroyer artilleries, the Holy Moon Mountain collapsed inch by inch, and countless rocks splashed about. Magic light poured out of the Holy Moon Mountain, but it still couldn't stop the Holy Moon Mountain from collapsing. Originally, once the Holy Moon Mountain was launched, it would be able to display extremely fearsome combat power. But the Star Destroyer battlestars displayed the characteristics of a technological civilization with strong offense and weak defense to the limit. The might of the Star Destroyer artilleries could even seriously injure a quasi-infinity warlock. Before the Holy Moon Mountain could launch its power, it was hit by the Star Destroyer artilleries, and began to collapse. Hundreds of thousands of third-generation battle robots and millions of second-generation battle robots took this opportunity to surge towards the Ping Fong city like a tide. Undying Mountain. Lei Ming, how dare you come to this place? Today, this will be the burial place of the Undying Mountain. The great elder of the Netherman Ogre Dragon's alarmed voice came from the Ping Fong city. 10-meter-tall netherworld ogres exuding nether aura and with ghostly faces on their faces flew out of the Ping Fong city and rushed towards Yang Feng's mechanical legion. Netherworld ogres are ogres living in the crack between the netherworld and the main world. Each netherworld ogre possesses great warlock rank power, and they also carry nether aura. Once hit by them, even a bright world warlock will be eroded by nether aura and injured. The Netherman Ogre Dragon Warlock Group has raised 500,000 such Netherworld Ogres, which are one of the strongest trump cards of the Netherman Ogre Dragon. The Undyings, who are the main fighting force, blurred into motion, flew into the midst of the Netherworld Ogres, slashed with their blades, and killed the Netherworld Ogres one after another. After one of the Undyings killed 4 Netherworld Ghosts, one of the Netherworld Ghosts suddenly raised its right claw and fiercely stabbed at the Undyings. A magic shield appeared on the Undyings, blocked the claw of the Netherworld Ogre, and then killed the Netherworld Ogre with a blade strike. Four Netherworld Ogres rushed over in an instant and extended their claws towards the Undyings. Following a series of afterimages, the four Netherworld Ogres were chopped into pieces in an instant. The Undyings not only have terrifying movement speed, but they can also activate a powerful magic shield, which can even resist 2 level 5 single-target offensive spells. Under the frenzied attack of the third-generation battle robots, the Netherworld Ogres were pierced through, and then submerged by the modified second-generation battle robots. A beam containing Nether Aura shot out from the Ping Fong City, slammed into the third-generation battle robots, and smashed the magic shields of hundreds of third-generation battle robots. At the same time, the Nether Aura frantically eroded the undying chips of the Undyings, distorting and mutating them. Strange skulls appeared on the bodies of the hundreds of Undyings, and they twisted and fell from the sky. When Yang Feng saw this scene, he couldn't help but exclaim in admiration, "Amazing! So this is the strength of a top Netherworld warlock. They can even kill the lifeless Undyings." The Undyings are lifeless mechanical weapons to begin with, and they should be almost impossible to kill. However, the Nether Aura containing warlock power twisted and mutated the undying chips of the Undyings, killing them on another level. Yang Feng couldn't help but sigh in admiration. Magic light shot from all directions barreling towards Yang Feng's mechanical legion like raindrops. Countless warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups rushed over from around the Ping Fong City. After the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, except for the Cool Breeze Abode, the other 8 warlock groups of the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups united around the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and the Water Moon Heaven to contend against the 5 heavenly lords and Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. In the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City, the 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups have suffered heavy losses, and some of their elites have been annihilated. However, they still possess great power. At this time, in order to fight against the Undying Mountain, in addition to some warlocks guarding their base, they have also sent many elites here. Chapter 615. A glorious sun warlock of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre transformed into a 100-meter-tall Thunder Demon Evil Ogre with a 100-meter-long wolf tooth club slammed towards the Undyings like a mountain. The wolf tooth club of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre contains the law of power. When it slammed into the Undyings, a fearsome force erupted in an instant and shattered the Undyings, and even their chips were shattered in an instant. Magic radiance enveloped the Undyings and tightened the surrounding air, causing the speed of the Undyings to slow down. In addition to the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, the glorious sun warlocks of the other 9 heavenly ogre warlock groups attacked one after another, and various powerful spells slammed into the third-generation battle robots and blasted them apart. Die! At this moment, a pinnacle bright world warlock rank breath descended from the sky, and a huge wind blade containing the law of wind slashed the Tyrant Demon Evil Ogre and cut the glorious sun warlock rank Tyrant Demon Evil Ogre in two. A black flame flew out of the void and pounced towards the Tyrant Demon Evil Ogre, directly burning it to ashes. The glorious sun core was also blown away by a gust of wind and flew towards the sky. The Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode. That's the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode. When the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogres saw the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode in the sky, a chill ran down their spines, and their fighting spirit faded somewhat. The Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode is a pinnacle bright world warlock rank Great Elder. If there is no powerhouse of the same rank restraining him, he can stand leisurely behind the Mechanical Legion and kill the glorious sun warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogres one by one. Unless all the glorious sun warlocks on the battlefield gather, form a large formation, and use all kinds of secret treasures, they might barely be able to contend against the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode. If they act separately, they will be killed one by the Great Elder of the Cool Breeze Abode. Once the glorious sun warlocks gather, their remaining power will hardly be able to contend against the charge of the third-generation battle robots. Zhao Qing, why are you making an enemy out of us? A terrifying netherworld aura surged out from Ping Fong City. A 1,000-meter-long netherworld ghost dragon flew out from the city. Its huge dragon eyes were practically spewing flames as it roared crazily. Zhao Qing was the name of the Grand Elder of the Cool Breeze Gang. Over the years, almost everyone called him the Grand Elder of the Cool Breeze Gang. Only some old monsters knew his real name. A ring of moonlight rose from Ping Fong City and floated in the void, releasing rays of pure and holy light. Zhao Qing said coldly, "Because I have surrendered to the young lord of Undying Mountain. You should be very clear about this." A sword light that seemed to be burning with black flames descended from the sky. As if tearing through the void, the sword light slashed at the Netherworld Ogre Dragon's head. The terrifying power of darkness erupted and cut the Netherworld Ogre Dragon into two. Blazing Angel Alexia, you actually summoned Undying Mountain's thunder. There was a flash of panic and despair in the eyes of the Great Elder of the Netherworld Ogre Dragon, and he roared at the top of his lungs, his voice full of incredulity. For a powerful existence like the Blazing Angel, the Abyssal Fiend Grand Duke Poital must have set up a soul brand in the deepest part of her soul. The Abyssal Fiend Grand Duke Poital is a terrifying existence who can contend against a human junior warlock monarch rank powerhouse. Even in the Great Cloud Dynasty, few people can remove the soul brand he set up. Only some Empyrean grade secret treasures or special holy grade secret treasures can lift the soul brand set up by the Abyssal Fiend Grand Duke Poital. For the Blazing Angel Alexia to submit to Yang Feng, this is simply shocking and inconceivable. The ring of moonlight that the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven has transformed into flashed, turned into a beam of resplendent moonlight and fled into the distance. With the appearance of the Blazing Angel Alexia, the 9 Heavenly Ogre Warlock groups no longer have a chance of winning. At the time, the 5 Great Elders of the 9 Heavenly Ogres had a hard time dealing with Alexia. If it wasn't for the Great Elder of the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre transforming into his second battle form and Zhao Qing going all out to use the level 9 Secret Treasure Elemental Lock, the 5 of them may not be Alexia's opponent. A silver net descended from the sky and, as if it has evolved into a world shrouded in endless yellow sand, enveloped the moonlight that the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven has transformed into, and forcibly sucked it in. The Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven has just collided with the silver net shrouded in endless yellow sand, and then suddenly changed into a huge sword of moonlight that slashed at the silver net, cut open a hole in it, and flew out of the silver net. The Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven has just flown out of the silver net, when a fallen angel sword shrouded in endless dark force slashed towards him with endless killing intent. The Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven in the form of moonlight begged, "I am willing to submit to young Master Lei Ming. Please spare my life, young master." A moonlight shield blocked in front of a beam of moonlight. When Alexia's sword slashed at the moonlight shield was severed, and a black sword ray flashed and slashed at the moonlight shield. The Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven in the form of moonlight screamed and retreated by a dozen+ kilometers. Black gas twisted and distorted, and he turned into a handsome young man with delicate features. As for the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon, he has already been slain by Alexia, and his soul has been extinguished. The Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon was injured in the battle in the Wave Cloud Mountain City. Faced with Alexia, who can contend against Infinity Warlocks, he was quickly slain due to a sneak attack. Zhan Hongtao, Chen Lei, and the other 2 Pinnacle Bright World Warlocks have already appeared in midair, and they looked at the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven with complicated expressions. The void twisted, and a true God Empyrean imprint flew out of the void and imprinted on the forehead of the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven. At the same time, a cold voice sounded, "Open your soul and let me set up a soul brand." The Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven sighed and relaxed the defense of his soul, allowing the countless runes released by the true God Empyrean imprint to engrave on his soul. Seeing the Great Elder of the Nethermoon Ogre Dragon slay by Alexia and the Great Elder of the Water Moon Heaven surrender, the remaining warlocks of the 9 Heavenly Ogre Warlock groups suddenly panicked and fled in different directions. The Swift Eagle fighters ejected from the 2 steel carriers reached a speed of Mach 35, which is 10 Mach higher than the top speed of the Undyings. Pursued by the Swift Eagle fighters, the warlocks of the 9 Heavenly Ogre Warlock groups suffered heavy casualties. Besieged by the Swift Eagle fighters and 3rd-generation battle robots, several Moonlight Warlocks were torn to pieces, and their Moonlight cores were seized. The warlocks of the Zhan family, the Yi family, the Chen family, and the Song family poured in like a tide and attacked the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre rank. I surrender. Spare my life. Seeing that the situation was hopeless, the warlocks of the 9 heavenly ogre warlocks surrendered. Those who surrender will be spared. When Yang Feng's order was issued, the great elders of the other 4 heavenly lords also warned the warlocks under them. They know very well that now is the time for Yang Feng to establish his might. Anyone who runs into the muzzle of his spear will be killed as a warning to the rest. Yang Feng looked at the warlocks who chose to surrender, raised his eyebrows slightly, and revealed a smile. The Ligui province now belongs to me. No one can stop me from taking over the Ligui province. Yang Feng took a deep look into the distance, and an enigmatic shade flashed in his eyes. In the Ligui province, only the Ligui Demon Mountain won't be under my control in the future. The Ligui Demon Mountain is a dangerous place where even Holy Spirit warlocks will die. According to legend, the Ligui Demon Mountain is the main culprit behind the decline of Infinity warlocks in the Ligui province. Even though Yang Feng has taken control of the Ligui province, he doesn't dare to go to the Ligui Demon Mountain. Ogre Dragon City, outside the Holy Mountain where the Netherman Ogre Dragon is located, there are warships floating in the sky. There are countless warlocks from the Ligui province aboard the warships. In the center of a beautiful and luxurious warship, there is a luxurious litter inlaid with countless treasures. The person sitting in the litter is Yang Feng. Standing beside Yang Feng are Alexia, Zhao Qin, the great elder of Water Moon Heaven, Zhan Hongtao, Yi Chen, Song Jin, and Chen Lei, 7 bright world warlock rank powerhouses. Except for Yi Chen and Song Jin who haven't fully recovered from their injuries, the others are all pinnacle bright world warlock rank existences. Alexia is a blazing angel rank fallen angel who can contend against an infinity warlock. Fearsome auras gushed out from the warlock army and enveloped the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain. With a flash of light, a warlock with a junior glorious sun warlock rank cultivation base dressed in a black robe flew out of the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain and bowed respectfully to Yang Feng. Netherman Ogre Dragon's sect master Zhang Qing greets Undying Mountain's young master. May I ask why young lord has come to our sect? Yang Feng uttered flatly, my Undying Mountain wants to unify the Ligui province. You Netherman Ogre Dragons only have 2 choices. Or perish like this. Make your choice. Zhang Qing glanced at the warlock army, smiled helplessly, and sighed. The Netherman Ogre Dragon, am willing to submit to the Undying Mountain and serve the Undying Mountain. Yang Feng ordered, open the boundary of the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain and let my people in. Chapter 6:16. When the barrier around the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain opened, a large number of battle robots flew into the sacred mountain and took control of the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain. Next, the Bright World Warlock Zhan Hongtao entered the sacred mountain and inspected the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain. After discovering that there were no abnormalities, the huge Warlock Legion entered the Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain and began to take control of the entire mountain. In the Nether Dragon Hall, Yang Feng, sitting on the throne that only the sect master can sit on, stroked the armrest of the throne, and said with a faint smile, the affairs of the world are really fickle. At the time, I was driven out by sect master Lu Bowen here. A bitter expression on his face, Zhang Cheng, the sect master of the Netherman Ogre Dragon, stood aside silently, his heart full of complicated emotions. Not long ago, Yang Feng, the young master of the Undying Mountain, was just a junior with potential in the eyes of a glorious sun warlock like Zhang Cheng. But now the entire Netherman Ogre Dragon's sacred mountain is in Yang Feng's pocket. Zhang Cheng naturally felt a little upset. An Undying Guard stepped into the Nether Dragon Hall, saluted Yang Feng, and said, Young Master, the Secret Treasure City Master Hua Lihai requests an audience. Yang Feng said lightly, let him in. Not long after, Hua Lihai walked in with a beautiful woman in white clothes. She was pure, charming, and beautiful. She was like a beautiful flower. The beautiful woman dressed in white is Hua Xiangshuan, the second most beautiful woman in the Ligui province. She is Hua Lihai's daughter. Hua Lihai bowed respectfully to Yang Feng and uttered, "I am Hua Lihai, the Secret Treasure City Master." "Greetings, young Master Lei Ming." Hua Xiangshuan also saluted Yang Feng, but her beautiful eyes shimmered with an enigmatic shade. At the time in the Moon Heaven City, Hua Xiangshuan only thought that Yang Feng was just a relatively outstanding young man of the same generation. Proud and reserved, she even disdained to make contact with Yang Feng. As the only direct bloodline descendant of the Secret Treasure City Master, Hua Xiangshuan has a very high status in the younger generation of the Ligui province. Few people can compare to her. In addition, she was extremely beautiful and her cultivation talent was not bad. Naturally, she had the right to be arrogant. Now, Yang Feng, who Hua Xiangshuan didn't pay much attention to, had unexpectedly become an existence that even her most respected father had to lower his head and look up to. This kind of disparity caused her heart to be in turmoil. Yang Feng said lightly, "What's the matter? Speak." Hua Lihai said respectfully, "Our secret treasure city is willing to form an alliance with Undying Mountain and forge all kinds of secret treasures for them." Yang Feng sneered, "This proposal might have been useful to the Undying Mountain 2 months ago. But now, my Undying Mountain no longer needs allies in the Ligui province. My Undying Mountain wants to unify the entire Ligui province. The Ligui province is a resource-rich place comparable to the Great Cloud Dynasty's 36 greater provinces. The internal strife of the 5 heavenly lords and the 9 heavenly ogres coupled with the intervention of the abyssal fiends gave Yang Feng such a great opportunity to unify the Ligui province. How could he miss this opportunity? Once the secret treasure city becomes an ally of the Undying Mountain, there will soon be countless allies of the Undying Mountain in the Ligui province. In this way, although Yang Feng can unify the Ligui province faster, but it will be very difficult for him to freely mobilize the resources of the Ligui province. For the same reason, the Great Cloud Dynasties by family eradicated the 10 great sects one by one. Hua Lihai's eyes surged with bitterness when he heard that. Yang Feng uttered coldly, "Your secret treasure city will either submit to the Undying Mountain, or disappear." Hua Lihai's complexion changed several times, and he finally said solemnly, "The secret treasure city is willing to submit to you, young master, and is willing to offer the monarch-grade secret treasure Star Moon Pool. I only have one request, that is, young master, marry my daughter Xiangshuan." Hua Xiangshuan's pretty face paled slightly, but she clenched her white teeth and didn't say a word. Yang Feng's eyes lit up slightly, and he revealed a satisfied smile and said, "Okay, I promise you." In the secret treasure city, there is an extremely ancient secret treasure Star Moon Pool. According to legend, the monarch-grade secret treasure Star Moon Pool is a component of the most important Empyrean-grade secret treasure Magic Note munitions factory of the 7th Warlock Dynasty Magic Note Dynasty. Unlike ordinary Empyrean-grade secret treasures, the Magic Note munitions factory is a super-large secret treasure covering an area of 10,000 square kilometers. In the Magic Note munitions factory, there are a series of components such as Star Moon Pool, Sun Pool, Soul Forging Factory, Flesh Pool, Plain Wool Crushing Pool, Star River Processing Factory, and so on. The Magic Note Dynasty's numerous pinnacle secret treasures are manufactured in the Magic Note Munitions Factory, and the Empyrean-grade secret treasures are also manufactured in the Magic Note Munitions Factory. Each Empyrean-grade secret treasure possesses world-shaking power. Human Warlock Emperors are on par with Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses of other races in terms of strength. However, human Warlock Emperors have one or more Empyrean-grade secret treasures. By relying on a combat Empyrean-grade secret treasure that is completely compatible with them, human Warlock Emperors are truly invincible, quelling countless powerful beings of other planes, and creating one brilliant Warlock dynasty after another. Empyrean-grade secret treasures possess infinite power. However, it takes a lot of resources and a lot of time to refine an Empyrean-grade secret treasure. The Magic Note Munitions Factory can greatly shorten the refining time of Empyrean-grade secret treasures, which allowed the Magic Note dynasty to become the Warlock dynasty with the best secret treasures among the 8 Warlock dynasties. Although the Monarch-grade secret treasure star moon pool is just a component of the Empyrean-grade secret treasure magic note munitions factory, but it still has the mystical power to collect star and moon force. Every day, the star moon pool can collect star and moon force and form a low-grade star and moon crystal. Star and moon crystal is a top-notch treasure used to refine secret treasure materials. A low-grade star and moon crystal can be used to refine a level 4 secret treasure. If the secret treasure city is willing, it can easily refine a level 4 secret treasure every day with the help of the star moon pool. If the star and moon crystals in the star and moon pond were not taken away, after 1,000 days, 1,000 low-grade star and moon crystals would condense into a mid-grade star and moon crystal, 1,000 mid-grade star and moon crystals would condense into a high-grade star and moon crystal, 1,000 high-grade star and moon crystals would condense into a top-grade star and moon crystal, 1,000 top-grade star and moon crystals would condense into a god-grade star and moon crystal. God-grade star and moon crystals are one of the best materials for forging Empyrean-grade god armaments. Of course, this is because the star-moon pool is incomplete. The time it takes to condense a god-grade star and moon crystal is frighteningly long. When the Empyrean-grade secret treasure magic note munitions factory is complete, it will take about 100 years to produce a god-grade star and moon crystal. In the Monarch-grade secret treasure star and moon pool, in addition to the precious star and moon crystals, warlocks who practice cultivation in the star and moon pool can also be tempered by star and moon force, improve their physique, and even improve their soul aptitude to a small extent. Yang Feng's soul aptitude is already superior level 8, making it difficult for him to advance any further. However, he can still use the power of the star and moon pool to temper his physique. The two warlock groups, Nethermoon Ogre Dragon and Secret Treasure City, surrendered without a fight. All the warlock groups in the Ligui province understood that Yang Feng wants to unify the Ligui province. Among the 9 heavenly ogres, the Thunder Demon Evil Ogre, the Purgatory Ogre, the Thunder Demon Sect, and the 7 Stars Abode abandoned their foundations and fled the Ligui province overnight. The rest of the warlock groups chose to submit to Yang Feng. Under the command of Alexia, the huge mechanical legion unscrupulously besieged cities in the Ligui province and annihilated the forces unwilling to submit to the Undying Mountain one by one. Yang Feng, on the other hand, plunged into cultivation. Using the resources of the Ligui province, his cultivation speed advanced by leaps and bounds. In a secret room, Yang Feng fiddled with the 4 treasures in front of him and revealed a smile: Wind God Ancient Origin Stone, Water Root Fire, Glorious Sun Warlock Rank Earth Ape Core, and Dragon Whale Water Stone. As expected of the Ligui province, it's really rich in resources. The Wind God Ancient Origin Stone is a treasure that was formed after the blood of a great holy steppe wind god from the Archgod era dripped onto the earth and absorbed wind elemental particles. Water Root Fire is a strange existence that forms in the deepest part of the sea, volcanoes, and some other places that contain rich fire elemental particles. It was a strange flame that looked like water, but no matter what was put in it, it would be easily burned to ashes. Earth Ape Core is the crystal core of an ancient life form Earth Ape, which has been hunted to extinction by human warlocks in the Zhangji Plain. Earth Apes are earthen extraordinary life forms born from stones. They are born with the ability to control earth elemental particles, and their earth escape art is unparalleled in the world. Their crystal cores are the best materials to form a world. Dragon Whale Water Stone is a water treasure that can only be born after the crystal core of a Glorious Sun Warlock rank dragon whale is dug out and buried in a place rich in water elemental particles. Then, through various secret methods, it takes 1,000 years to form a water treasure. Even for a peerless genius of the Tai Yi sect like Yi Yuanyang, these 4 treasures are treasures that can only be obtained by chance. After plundering the Ligui province, Yang Feng obtained these 4 treasures. Yang Feng spread the fingers of a hand, and a huge whirlpool emerged from his right hand and enveloped the 4 treasures. The 4 treasures appeared in Yang Feng's small world, and primal chaos force slammed into the 4 treasures. A copious amount of wind elemental particles gathered and formed a 10,000-meter tall wind god that looks like it can easily break the small world. The Wind God Ancient Origin Stone contains a trace of power of the Archgod Wind God. Even that trace of power can still easily kill an ordinary Moonlight Warlock. This is the terror of a Holy Spirit Warlock rank existence. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.